funeral and wedding coming up, or if this is for the wife? Please say it's for Michelle.
It's for the wife.
Oh, let's
take you out of the doghouse.
With Mother's Day coming up, you can't look too wild. It's the thing.
No, I can't look too wild at all.
Yeah. Firstly, I have some very weighty matters on my mind this morning. Do you remember I mentioned that video which had gone viral?
Which one with the young man?
The young man has since
been found.
was found.
Yes.
Okay. That had disturbed my spirit just in a very subliminal way, and I was thinking it through. What was it? Because when I first saw it, you knew instinctively you were looking at a dead man talking. You didn't know it would be the next day, but I understood that. And he himself understood it too, because amongst the many things he said was, he knows he's going to be dead soon. And he was trying to bring in money that was out there for his children. And he was expressing some concern about money being frozen, like his accounts were frozen. So obviously things were going on around him that has ratcheted up the level of desperation.
Desperation?
Yeah. And that is what I want us to explore this morning. That level of desperation that has entered the national psyche. This morning the headline is 7-year-old girl taken, raped, savagely beaten. Thankfully she's been found. But I want us to talk a little bit about this, even as we look to the pathway to let's bring in some of those things back in line with what God intends for us. So it's time for our first break, 6:31 a.m. We will be right back. Please stay with us.
We're just a click away. www.bestfm.com. Streaming live on the internet.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Vijam Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vijam Printers, your best choice in printing.
Half a tree. When I'm ready, 200. Ready, mama. Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
Bess 100 FM presents the Mature and Moving Up Show with Lascelles Butch Chen on Thursdays from 6 to 9 p.m. Welcome to this pioneering radio program on our continuing work in our maturing years. Compellingly defined to educate and liberate the younger generation. Tune in and welcome.
Discussions on health and education, inspiring interviews, surprise giveaways, your favorite songs. Tune in to Bess 100 FM this and every Sunday at 11:30 to 12 noon. It's Distinction 411, your weekly college magazine program hosted by James and the Distinction family. Catch you on Sunday.
Wagwan.
Guten Tag.
Buongiorno.
We are
the Kingstones.
I think I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them. It's so amazing how I love you best of them. better than the rest of them.
This is your beloved Pastor Percy from the Morning Connection. Support our commitment to Jamaica by joining us on Wednesday mornings.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Morning Connection. This morning, I want to, in response to what you asked in terms of what you have observed in the nation, I don't know, it's a strange, I had a dream, and I don't understand the dream, but because I don't understand it, I will not say what it was, but it spoke to something about to happen, and the forces were there trying to abort the purpose of why that thing would have happened. So birth was supposed to be something good was to happen, and then all the forces were lined up to seeking to abort it, to cause it to be stillborn.
So what remains mysterious about it for you? What's the purpose?
I saw faces, but I can't remember. But the whole dream was about something good breaking forth, and everything was lined up. He said, this will not happen. And I'm wondering if it is that now the purposes of God for individuals, for the nation, is now in the fullness of time concept beginning to want to happen, and everything is lined up to prevent that. And so this morning I woke up praying. You know, you can wake up out and sleep and pray. And
praying, singing.
Yes, you know what I'm talking about. And yesterday we spoke about the Judge Deborah, and you have spoken to the fact that in the season of our nation, women are going to be so very important in terms of bringing to fruition the purpose of God, being the midwives that are going to birth what God is seeking to do in this nation. So how does it line up with all of these things that we are seeing, these attacks?
Well, one of the things we know is that threat and intimidation is a favorite tool or strategy of every enemy.
Yeah, he comes to kill, steal, and to destroy.
And the least cost route to taking a territory is to mess with the mind so people submit before you even have to expend any real effort. You know, I always remember when I was taking some swimming lessons because I wanted to improve my overall physical health.
Yes.
It was shortly after my child was born, and I was trying to return to a level of fitness, and swimming was recommended, highly recommended as a whole body sport.
It is.
Was, you know, would put minimal. I'm saying all this if you're thinking of what you need to do to restore optimal health and athleticism without putting great pressure on the joints, because for women who have, you know, just given birth, your joints are still soft.
Yes, correct.
And a certain type of activity can be stressful, painful, and just be a downright turn off. So I was a squash player, and, you know, I go to the gym in order to build for squash. I didn't like the gym at all, and I like more social activities. So my sister, I tell you, just say brother is born for adversity, and I said, but a sister. My sister agreed to join me in swimming lessons so we could build.
Okay.
So the coach who came to teach us or train with us, he stood on the pool deck, and they start with safety routine. Yeah. So he started to teach us about what how to respond if someone is in trouble in the water.
That's where it started?
Yeah.
Okay.
And to teach me that your first strategy to save the person, to rescue a person, is to talk them out of the water.
Okay.
Like, you don't dive in and try to bring him. No, your first strategy then is don't get wet, don't get in trouble. Help the person to regain their comfort level and put panic behind you and calm down and stop fighting the water and find the closest. We were doing it in a swimming pool, so it was getting yourself to the side of the pool where you could hold on and so on. But what struck me was that, hey, talk them out of the water. You can talk a non-swim out of water. You can.
Okay.
Get them to calm down. So even if you have to go in, they're not panicked and trying to...
And then they're going to struggle with you and strangle you. Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So it is, I think, with the enemy. You're trying to rescue someone, you want to rescue them with the least effort. You're trying to terrify and intimidate someone, you also want to do it with the least effort. The least effort is where the person does the work, not you.
Okay.
So there is a degree of savagery and depravity that is now evident in the physical, not just, the corruption is of the same,
It is.
Crime
and violence, corruption, same thing.
Yeah, it's like people would steal from their mother. You would steal from your mother, you know. So there's that. But in the physical, you're seeing people going the extra mile with how outrageous their behavior is. So I started to just pulling from recent headlines to just capture a few things that I think we need to consider and plot a strategy, because victory in anything is always intentional. You're not going to accidentally stumble on victory. You got to desire it, plan for it, anticipate, and position yourself so that in due course you can wear the victor's crown.
And put yourself forward as a person who is going to stand in the gap. That becomes important. So that's why I return back to, remember, the book of Judges begins with everybody, not the prophet, the statement. Everybody, the king, yes,
and every man
do what was right in his own eyes. And it is important in terms of responding to what we see. We have to know, I'm tying it together, we have to go back to where we recognize without a shadow of a doubt what God's pronouncements are in terms of how we should be as a nation, in terms of His law, His righteousness, how we should be in regards to that. Now, if you do not have a standard of how you must be, then you're going to do anything that come to your mind. And what we're seeing is that persons are responding now. This looks like it's good to me. This looks like I could do this now. I could do this time. It's a good time to do it now. But we call a halt to it in a spiritual way to say, no, people who understand what is God's heart, importantly, what is God's intention, importantly, need to stand up and to say and begin to do. We can't do what seems to be right. But this is how lawlessness come about, because it was speaking to one lawlessness and speaking to the fact that everything was against what God is seeking to do in this nation in terms of His will and purpose.
So you know that I am putting amongst the list of things which display what's going on in the heart of man as we are under the oppression of the enemy. I've included in it this threat of rape to the journalist. Now, how does any sane individual choose that threat, whether you're doing it jokingly or otherwise? Why would you choose that?
Intimidation. One of the spirit of
it's the intimidation.
Spirit of intimidation.
Coverage
and
and
fear.
gravity that a man would make that kind of comment or issue a statement like that to a young woman who's trying to do her job.
So it's a spirit of fear.
Not even like me that
intimidation.
It's not even the usual enough.
And that person
to go right into
the heart
that would
to cause her to feel afraid and afraid because there is a great sense of insecurity in this nation. I don't know if I related to you. One of the days, it was a Thursday that I left, and I was going to do some business somewhere, and when I went there, I went to NHD. I remember the day when we were having the NHD. Has that been resolved, by the way?
Not at all.
Right, it's still going on with that.
Yeah.
We probably need to write a letter to the managing director. Get some attention. You want us to load it up on here?
Not yet.
Not yet. And I met these two young men who were nurses.
Yeah.
From India.
I remember.
And they said to me, I said, this is good, man, it's great. But we are afraid, it's mental, of going out on the road because of the general sense of insecurity that is present in our nation. And when all of what we're seeing happening, fear, F-E-A-R, is now the enemy now is using that to intimidate, to shut up, to try to abort, that's the word, try to abort the purpose of God in this nation that is now beginning to now be manifest, that people are now beginning to understand, hold on, we don't have to take what we're seeing happening. This is not God's plan or intention for us as individual, as community, as a nation, no. And we see all the forces now lining up. The external forces beginning to say, yeah, you're gonna do this because there's the economic strings that are attached and so on.
You know, one of the things we should hasten to introduce is the absolute futility of anyone fighting against God.
Right.
I mean, let's put it in context, because this is something many persons will say, but the will of God for this or that did not materialize. What God does in this realm is done in partnership with man. We could spend some time talking about the necessity of human agency in the completion of the work of God.
It's always there.
It is always there.
It is always there.
There's always something for you and me to do in bringing to pass what God has said. What it means is, if I fail to do my part, that is, I will not enjoy during my generation. It will remain for someone else to do. Each person's objective has to be that they are amongst those who participate in the work and bring it to pass.
And do what is right.
That should be the personal ambition. Every human being should have a desire to be a part of the team that gets it done.
And what God is doing in the nation.
Yes. That's simply put. So you might not enjoy it during your time because perhaps you stood at a distance and you were an observer instead of a participant. And because you didn't put your hand to the plow, the field was not prepared. That means somebody else has to come and do it. You will never see it. And you may be saying, oh, the word of God is not true. It's only not true because you didn't do your part.
Amen.
Meaning it's not true in your lifetime
for what you did.
Or for you because you didn't do your part.
You never did what you needed to do.
You did not do what you were put here to do. So you have to wait on somebody else. But remember, that time matters to us because we are of a finite lifespan.
It doesn't matter to God.
God.
We've spoken that way.
He'll wait for the next Adam. As far as he's concerned, we're all Adam.
Yeah.
We're all Adam in the process of restoration. So he'll wait on the next one. You and me now will go back. It will go into the ground, let's put it that way. Our bodies will die without our soul having experienced the joy of the
goodness of God.
purpose. Yeah.
So
I wanted to put that in perspective first, because time and again you hear people saying, well, you know, I pray it didn't happen, or God didn't do it for me, or where is God without...
Where is it? But you see, I don't even, as you know, I'm in transition in terms of a lot of things for me personally.
Yeah.
And it is learning to know what God is saying and doing, learning to obey. You've heard me say this for the last 2 years. Daniel 11:32, the people who know their God, and the knowing is an intimate relationship. It's not an looking outside and no, it's not. No, it is not. It is further. It is going into relationship where you and God continue to have conversations on a daily and minute level. Some of the times for me, that's where it's at, to obey him in the instance that he speaks, to walk in faith. You're not seeing a lot of things, but you know that he has said, and you continue to move. Like what Abraham did. Mm-hmm. And so now God is calling us in terms of our response to what we see. First, do not respond from fear and intimidation. Respond from a position of faith, believing that God's purposes must and will prevail in this nation. And though a lot of forces are seeking to abort what is rising in the hearts of our people, we need to press. Mm-hmm. We need to press. We need to press. And that brings into question this thing of constitutional reform. You know, we don't even begin to see some other things that work at play here. You know, here now God says, I am now beginning to raise up a nation that will represent me, that will come into alignment with what was spoken over 60 years ago at the foundation. You know, Minett, I look at it, in all the nations of the world, why Jamaica have a national anthem that is a prayer? Why is it? We're not Israel, you know. That was, he pulled them out. Mm-hmm. Why Jamaica? But it is God who calls the nations. It will be set it to be so. So there is purpose and there is destiny, sisters, riding on that. And now, somebody spoke about reigniting. What was this? 1946, reigniting a nation for greatness and what again? Yes.
I remember the rest of it. Words, but they don't understand that it's powerful.
Yeah, they have spoken it, but they don't even know what they must call him out and speaking to be manifested. And they are going to be bowed over by what it is they have unleashed in the spiritual realm in terms of what God is doing.
So it takes us back to the point. Can man defeat the set will, purpose of God? Never.
They can never.
Never. It is possible that during your lifetime, you won't see it come to fruition because you didn't do your part. So I'm back to emphasizing that it ought to be our personal ambition, each of us, to be a part of it.
That is it.
That's my ambition, for sure.
That we become passionate about what is good and true and right, what is righteous and just. And if we were, you know, if we get that going in terms of igniting in the heart of every single Jamaican, yes, to ignite, yes.
You have struck gold again.
Yes.
Welcome, and Earl Brown, good morning. I couldn't help it, but I saw Earl say, get a drowning person to walk out of the water.
Yeah,
yes, you can.
Yes.
Not a total non-swimmer who will swallow water and don't even hear you, but someone who knows enough of the fundamentals, which is what he was doing with us, to regain your calm and work with the water rather than fight it. Can be done, but Earl says he remembers some films in the USA of school children doing drills, diving under desk if there's a nuclear attack. They call it duck and cover. That strategy reminds him of that. It sounds like he's saying it is an act of futility. But it is not. The mind is very powerful. The can learn to dive, you put your head under the water and strike out for the nearest wall. It's only a swimming pool, the nearest wall is close enough. Oftentimes twice the length of your body.
Yeah.
And you're touching, and once you touch something firm,
yes,
your confidence is restored.
Yeah, so it becomes important.
You know that it's possible.
Yeah.
Once you touch the rock, we've gone to the rock of ages.
Yay!
Once
you go back to the rock, it becomes important in terms of what we're doing.
Solid that you can put your foot again and find your way to safety. But Bevan Fairweather has made a very interesting comment that I just want to share with you if you're not online and seeing it. She says the way of God is for Adam to become Christ. How deep is that?
Because Christ was the second Adam.
Yes, but we also know that Adam, seed of Adam, participated in the fulfillment of Christ's, the advent of Christ. So, mission accomplished. It is done.
So,
it is done.
If we
can't fight God and win.
So, if now we understand, against the backdrop of the savagery that we're seeing in our nation, and how it causes us, especially our women, to become so afraid and intimidated and wondering what next.
Yeah.
We speak against that spirit of fear and intimidation at that level, but there's also another level of fear and intimidation that people use their economic power in this nation to crush people.
Yeah.
And we have experienced that.
And I'm going through it right now.
And now we are saying, we are calling a halt to it in the spirit. Right now, and saying, that is it. We join the line today. This is the 11th day of May. And hear me. Hear me speaking.
Is that the Lord?
Yes, we draw a line against that, which is, in some ways, people have unleashed and say, no, enough is enough. And let now the persons of goodwill, the persons who understand what justice and righteousness is, begin to rise up, begin to come together. I'm calling that together even now as I speak across this nation, from Negroid Point to Moran Point. Let persons of goodwill across denominational barriers and boundaries that they are built across the religious settings, those who believe in what is just and good and right. Now that coalition of persons are rising up across this nation to overcome the evil that would so seek to overwhelm us. Yeah, we're standing up.
Yeah. Percival, as you are speaking, first, Laura just gave me a peek at a bit of news. You remember how Michael Leachin bought that fancy yacht and we were there saying it was for 300 million?
Yes, and he could have used that money to do all of it.
It's being reported in the news. Observer has a story on it this morning that he sold it and made a profit of $62 million. But as I read that, a man doesn't buy a fancy toy to unload it in 2 years' time, unless he discovers that he wasn't using it. There are many. I am just very curious. I want to hear the backstory. If you know it, you guys in Canada who know everything, I think news originates in Canada.
Yes. So he made a 30%.
He made, no, not 30%. He made
20%, guys.
$62 million profit.
And 300.
For 362.
Right, so it's 52.
For 300.
So it's 20%, 50%, yeah. 20% profit.
So, why does Mr. Leachin need to
sell it? Probably see something that is
big toy.
That's what it is. I've seen them. I say, really, people slow and things they do. Because they don't have anything else to do with their money. It's a toy.
The building or the buying of it?
The buying and the building.
Hey, the buying of it, that yacht could earn its keep if you're able to use it. And I suspect he has not been able to use it. If you're able to use it, it earns its keep in probably 6 months. By the time you host all the powerful movers and shakers and deals.
The deals are made on it, yeah.
Oh, please. That is a tax write-off. But selling it, and you sold it before the Morning Connection had an opportunity to do a show on it. The next step that is who bought it. Then you find out who bought it, producer. But you guys in Canada, tell me. I want to know, why did the billionaire get rid of his latest toy? Very curious about that. I see it though as, well, in the spirit of what we're talking about, the sure knowledge we have that Mammon has lost the battle, that Mammon can never go up against divine purpose and triumph. It's only for individuals to align themselves with the will of God and become a part of the victory parade. If not, you will die disappointed. You will die feeling that God was not true. And you're going to be very surprised when he tells you all the points at which you should have stepped into the battle and carried your piece of it. And we got the signal at 7 o'clock. When we come back, Percy and I will tell you what's going to be happening with our guest that's coming in the morning. And of course, we're going to take this conversation a little deeper because we're going to leave you with homework, reflection, because every day that you rise up, you must be stronger and you must be accomplishing something more in line with what God has set for you. We'll be right back.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. You're simply the best.
Bess FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
From May 11 to 14, the Jamaica Constabulary Force will stage the Transformations, People, Quality and Technology PQT Expo, geared at showcasing how the men and women of the JCF are embracing and employing a range of technologies to deliver greater levels of service to the citizens of Jamaica whom they have sworn to protect and serve. Being hosted at the National Arena, the expo will feature simulated exercises as well as holograms and many more technology-driven activities, and attendance is free. Head of the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF Communications Unit, Senior Superintendent of Police Stephanie Lindsay, was recently a guest on JIS Radio's online discussion program, Studio 58A, where she outlined for host Vaughn Davis what patrons can expect at the expo. We bring you an excerpt of their interview.
We have been transforming in different ways, but continuously for the last 5 years, we have transformed the JCF from what a lot of people know the JCF to be. And it's one of the reasons why we decided to have this expo, because even though we have done so much in terms of transformation, and if you notice, it's being represented on the people, quality, and technology. So all those areas that we have done significant work in, there is still a large part of the society who really don't know. We realize that there's a knowledge gap, and we see that all the time because usually we travel with the commissioner, and when we go to these public forum or he speaks at a function and it's question and answer, a lot of the questions that are being asked, we assume that those are things that people already know. So it is really important for us to let people understand the capability of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the modern force, the force that is using our people, really pushing emphasis on quality and driving a lot of our processes by way of technology. So this expo will give everybody an opportunity to see the side of the JCF that they have never seen before, to include areas that you would see on CSI and believe that it only exists in a 1 hour show. We actually use those up-to-date technology, and a part of the excitement of the expo is that people will get an opportunity to be a crime scene detective using technology. Yes, you'll hear more about that. So that's part of why we're doing it. So is to fill some of the knowledge gap.
That would also be one of the biggest takeaways. I think people will come there and see the full breadth of opportunity. That word, the opportunity within the JCF. People might just think it's just like what criminals and so on, but there are many ways to do this. There are many ways to skin a cat, as they say. And there's so much, where technology is going nowadays, you can come in and truly become an expert. You know, depending on how you carry yourself, how you put yourself through all the different training and that kind of thing. So it's a great opportunity, people. So last word, I want to tell people why they need to come out to this expo and tell them everything they need to know. The SSP Lindsay.
Right, so I want you to come out on May 11th to 14th to be a part of this experience. I guarantee you that your participation will make the event a wonderful one, and leaving there you will leave with a greater understanding and appreciation of your JCF, your force for good. You should come out because I know sometimes you have ideas that you want to share. Now you have an opportunity to have one-on-one with the Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson, and the leadership of the police force, managing the different portfolios within the organization. That's rare. You get an opportunity, so the average person will have an opportunity to get that. You will be exposed to information and behind the scenes information about the JCF and how we are using our people and our quality and our technology to enhance our job on a daily basis to be far more efficient and effective in serving you. Take the family, take the friends, and where you can't make it, pay attention to our JCF website because we will be bringing the information to you live through streaming, outside broadcasts on a daily basis, and just people telling each other, because I'm sure that after day one and the word start getting around is each one bring one. See you at the arena, April 11th to 14th.
Head of the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF Communications Unit, Senior Superintendent of Police Stephanie Lindsay, in an interview with Vaughn Davis on JIS Radio's online discussion program Studio 58A. Catch the full interview on the JIS YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
We're just a click away. www.bestfm.com. Streaming live on the internet.
This parenting tip is brought to you by Best 100 FM. What you do matters. This is one of the most important principles. What you do makes a difference. Your kids are watching you. Don't react on the spur of the moment. Ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish? And is this likely to produce the result? Remember, good parenting helps foster empathy, honesty, self-reliance, self-control, kindness, cooperation, and cheerfulness. This parenting tip was brought to you by Best 100 FM, giving you the better vibe.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales, shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Jamaica and the world, you want us back? We are back. The Breakthrough Deliverance Ministry, led by me, the Prophet Mark Stewart, right here on Best 100 FM. This and every Thursday night from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Yes, it's War Room Thursday. Come on out and join us, each and every one, on Best 100 FM, 100.1, 357 and 9. Come on out. Join me, the Prophet, Reverend Mark Stewart, and of course, the boss shot, Apostle Marshall. Come for your healing, breakthrough, deliverance, the prayer, the miracle, the word, the testimony, and so much more. Yes, my friends, Bess 100 FM, Bess 100 FM, War Room Thursday, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Join us. We are going to lick till it bursts.
Ready for the warfare. Ready for the warfare.
Half a tree. 180, 200. Ready, mama. Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
Bess 100 FM presents the Mature and Moving Up Show with Lascelles Butch Chen on Thursdays from 6 to 9 p.m. Welcome to this pioneering radio program on our continuing worth in our maturing years. Compellingly defined to educate and liberate the younger generation. Tune in and welcome.
Discussions on health and education, inspiring interviews, surprise giveaways, your favorite songs. Tune in to Bess 100 FM this and every Sunday at 11:30 to 12 noon. It's Distinction 411, your weekly college magazine program hosted by James and the Distinction family. Catch you on Sunday.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Bess 100
Wagwan.
Guten Tag.
Buongiorno.
We are
The Kingstones.
I think I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them. It's so amazing how I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them.
Good morning and welcome back. Thank you, as always, for joining us on the Morning Connection, especially on a Thursday morning when we're not taking calls. It's just Percival and Minett sharing and teaching and wanting to do our very best to make sure that you have relevant information and good strategies for tackling those issues which can make or break us. In the midst of all that, it's good to understand that we're not speaking from a place of inexperience or a place of great comfort. Each of us are we're all going through things that challenge us and give us good material as well to speak to you with confidence and
my dear sister, you said that again. Oh my Lord.
The issues of life.
And some of the times you only speak from a lot of times what you have experienced and what you know and what you see. And it's true, you know?
Yeah, yes. We do have, and I mean, Jamaica has had her fair share of leaders who have never run a business, but they are tackling the business of Jamaica.
Oh boy.
We see the misfortune that can befall us when inexperienced persons are put in situations way over their heads. Peter Principle, you remember the Peter Principle?
You know, you're
promoted beyond your point of competence.
Mm-hmm.
The Peter Principle reach you. We see it a lot because many persons step into high office or they put themselves forward for high office because they have a heart to serve and because maybe they're popular or maybe they have a strong base that can catapult them to the victory, or maybe they are seen by others as being vulnerable to manipulation, and so they put you forward to do the job. I've been in many situations where I see persons being put forward to do things, and the only reason that persons are supporting them is because those persons feel that at the time to come, they will be able to manipulate and extract a payment or a return on their investment in advancing that person's career. Of course, we speak against that. We don't want those persons in our politics, in our government, in our leadership. Too much of that goes on already. And that's one of the ways that we need to be careful as we gear up for the next season. Look to find the hand behind the man that you're seeing right there. Everybody who puts themselves forward for power have a base that pushes them forward. Examine that base and see if there are things there with which you are in agreement or things that repulse you, because you know then that you can't be a part of that support.
You know, but you raise a very important principle there, which is what corruption is about. Corruption in the sense that we see it in our politics. I support you. You know, when the time comes, I'm gonna be calling in my investment, and so that is why we stand against corruption, because you don't give somebody something, but you know it is not altruistic. You're expecting something back.
Yes, it's an investment.
Yes.
You're making an investment.
Yeah, no,
and when the day to pay comes, the price tag is high.
And persons need to have the backbone, the integrity to say, declare. That's why they say declare everything. In the US, they declare everything.
And it's the reason why you see campaign funding regulation is slow in coming in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Jamaicans don't want to declare. They don't want to declare. Very few institutions declare their giving and their support for political parties. But the reality of it is you should declare, because Percival and myself, who are looking at candidate ABC, need to know who else is looking at that candidate.
Who's
putting money into making that candidate shine.
Which is why I like.
No.
Which is why I like. Which is why I like the fact that people in diaspora have said in terms of the Commonwealth caper.
Yes.
That is what they're talking to. Right.
In order for us to really get a handle on the crime and violence and the other disruptive influences in our society, we have to get back to basics and handle that piece there of making information available. Transparency, truth, honesty, integrity, they all go together. If you're not prepared to speak out about how you are supported and what allows you to do certain things, then it means you yourself not comfortable with what you have to do to secure it.
Because what I would say now, when we just think about that, I have to say, if you're going to give me something, say up front, so I'm going to tell everybody, say, I'm Minett, give me that $1 million there, So if you see something coming, you can call me back out and say, because Minett, you gave that $1 million, that's why you made that decision.
Yes, why you won't necessarily putting her forward.
Why not make those people? And we see when people speak about the 21 families that somebody said to me, do you know that in our Jamaican politics there's one family that is in both camps? Do you know that?
Oh yeah.
You have one that is that, and JP one that is PM. Not call the names. So them hedge and bets properly. So whatever is happening, they are in the know, because to them family is stronger.
And are they right?
Yes, in terms of family is stronger.
Yes, but the ultimate, because the ultimate experience is where your business, your family concerns are invulnerable to the winds and waves of political change.
Yeah, but people have known of that.
Whichever party is in power, you should be set.
And that's what we're calling for.
That's the ultimate.
You must set the field. You want to set the field, the playing field, that everybody, you're Jamaican, you want to do business, you don't have to go ask for no political favor. You don't have to get any waivers for you to go ahead of the game. Because remember, that became a scandal, you know?
Yeah.
That became a major scandal that somebody had to step away in order for, remember that? The Shell waiver scandal. And there are others that are there that are waiting to blow up even now as we are speaking in this country. Now, people have gotten accommodation. Yes, man. And if I go, with Minett, we have the same idea.
Well,
we same, and Michelle. What that happened to you, Carousel? How that happened to you?
But Carousel is special because Carousel got trounced by both administrations.
Oh, I never pay your dues.
You know, with Carousel came the awareness that there are some businesses that won't leave the ground in your country because international interests have something to say about it. And that is something that it may be unavoidable to some extent, but we certainly want to minimize it. And we certainly want to keep it out of industries that are critical to the development of the country. What you want to do for your people in the area of technology and health and education, the driving factors need to be within local control. If whether my child is educated is going to depend on an American or a British or a European person opening a door, that's not okay for me. That's not okay for me. We must have the capability within local hands to take certain decisions and move the process forward to a certain degree. I know that there are many linkages of an international nature that make life work in Jamaica and any other country. I know that. But there must be a percentage of control, majority control
that is in our hands,
in local hands, so we can move forward. I see, for example, there's a call in one of the news reports for a return to physical books.
Why is that?
Because there has to be a concern that when the technology goes down,
what happened?
Children must still have something available to them.
I'm better still, because we nearly talk about electronic books. Remember, we saw it became so stark in COVID.
Yes.
With the fact that, and I remember I told you I wrote a paper on it in terms of the impact of COVID on CXC results in 2021 2022, and what came out, because I did some focus group with some students in some high schools, and they said, sir, thank God said them did have internet in the library.
Yes. Yeah.
Because we couldn't afford the data, we couldn't get into classes. Thank God that somehow some of our teachers were able to organize some face-to-face, because outside of that would have been dead in the water, because just the sheer fact that we could not afford the data affected us. So, and then because remember that what was even more highlighted, when you told people to go online and people can't buy data and you do have the reach in terms of the internet, and everybody saw, and we have not solved that problem enough, because this thing of putting up public Wi-Fi, as you pointed out, it good in one sense that people can go social media and things, but in terms of being able to do real work, you can't do that. And I'm saying to us to use our funds and say, yeah, man, somebody going to be in Parliament and talking about we have so much Wi-Fi and thing, put up all of these public. But that shouldn't be. What we should be doing is making sure that every single school has fiber optic internet service going into the school, so they have stable Wi-Fi and things. So I can understand that call, you know.
Yes.
Because it just highlight the discrepancy between, in terms of the socio-economic fallout. Because if you are there, you can afford it. I remember at a school, you know, it's a problem in high school. When we went internet, when we went online, and I became the person, everybody have a problem, missing my phone ring up. So we need the connection and thing. And then I started calling our parents, and the parents said, "Sir, he or she not in class now, simply because it was buying data or buying food." Those are some of the socio-economic that people are still making in this country.
Not only that, though, books can be loaned and gifted and restored, and you can't do that with data. Can I tell you? I mean, I know if you have an iPhone and you have to get things from the through iTunes or whatever the store is called, and you don't have an American credit card to keep your applications current, and that's it. You can be locked out. You can be locked out of your own information. So the global marketplace is not a friendly neighborhood marketplace where you know anybody that you can go and say, "Oh, Brother Percy, trust me some internet."
It's not funny. No, Minett. The chasm between rich and poor and availability. Because you remember you've been saying that UN has determined that access to internet is a universal right now. That is it?
Yes, it is.
So on to the people them in Sudan and the people them destroying. What happened to Africa and parts of Asia?
Yeah.
And there's some parts of the Middle East and so on. What's happening there, my sister? You know some of the realities that we no, sir.
And some of the challenges that we have to overcome.
We have to find solutions.
Everybody on the same plane. I have been searching from the time we've been talking. I've been trawling through the old copies of the newspaper that I have online. I am trying to find the report that was given, or the story that was reported on concerning the young autistic girl who was raped in a public hospital. It's been on my mind a bit because there's something I feel we need to focus on and add our voices to getting it in place as quickly as possible. I was saying to Laura this morning that when you take a matter to court, you take a criminal charge, you take a person accused of rape to court, the important element of the case that need to be proved by the prosecutor is that one, the accused person did something without the consent of the victim. And the criminal intent which goes with the crime requires you to show that the accused man knew of the person's disability and proceeded notwithstanding protestation and yes?
Yeah.
I was making that point because the young lady in question is 17 years old. So it's not statutory rape where it matters not. Whether the girl threw herself on you, said yes 1,000 times, encouraged you in every possible way, does not matter when the age of capacity has not yet been attained. But a 17-year-old young woman who may have the appearance of being able to give consent, and from whose conduct consent is presumed or accepted.
It was on Monday, May 8th. It was on RGR.
Yeah.
RGR.
I found the report, but not the full story, because in the story the mother of the child was explaining that this young girl she's verbal.
Yes.
Some autistic children don't speak.
So the girl was, she was missing from her bed. Her mother going to say she was missing.
She was missing from the bed. And then she found her crying and said someone had...
The person up there have sex with her.
Sex with her.
Mm-hmm.
And her mother explained that you ask her what happened, she will tell you. Yeah. She's not a child who hide things or would be, or is incapable of describing something that happened to her. So Jamaicans should brace themselves for the possibility that the contractor, and it's a contractor, is not a regular staff.
Somebody working in the place.
Someone who comes into the hospital for maybe a special limited purpose. And depending on what you hear, you may hear that he's not around to know that this is someone of limited capacity.
But even then, but rape or whatever is rape is against whether them say it or
No, please, you must have, look at it now, it's not the victim you're addressing.
Okay.
You're addressing a person who is presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
So there is every likelihood that the person may say, she said yes. I saw her, nice young lady, maybe I saw her in the corridor, depending on how she's dressed, I don't know, might not even know she's a patient.
Oh, I see what you say.
Interact with her. The man was upstairs bathing.
That's what it said?
He was showering, they found him washing off. He's not someone who did something surreptitiously and ran. He was refreshing himself after an encounter with a lady.
Oh wow, it's now 7:30.
So I wanted to go take us to the real issue that we need to confront, because many times we look at the appalling conduct of an individual and we forget how it came to happen. Because when you're in a public hospital, a person of limited capacity in a public hospital must be under such supervision that they don't either harm themselves or harm someone else. And through this story, we're discovering that the hospital does not have provisions to take care of someone who needs supervision and special needs then.
Okay.
That child, she could have wandered around the hospital and got into any other kind. He didn't come and take her out of her hospital bed. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so
this is the greater danger that we need to address. We're going to take our break and come back. I really want us to look at it because everything that happens in Jamaica gives us an opportunity to fix a problem and prevent recurrence when we return.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Goodness mercy, it's me again, Lord, your restorer, your game changer. Join me every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and Bess FM 100. It's Apostle Clive Campbell, aka the Khaki Suit Man, coming to you from 8 to 12 Orange Street, also Richmond District, Mandeville. Embrace the change.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. You hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
Wow, you big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
Yeah, try and call it, cause trust me.
Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
Ah, what a relief.
Live, camera, volume. Live it up Fridays on Bess 100 FM. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with I, Ibi Lion, each and every Friday. Giving you the better vibes, heard everywhere.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Bess 100.
Wagwan. Guten Tag.
Buongiorno.
We are
The Kingstones.
I think I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them. It's so amazing how I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them.
Welcome back. This morning we're exercising our minds on what it says about the state of our nation, that we have sunken to some new low in the savagery and the behavior of our people. First it says it's demonic, which is true, but we are also just kind of pointing you into a right understanding that no one fights against the will of God and succeeds. So we know that God has said certain things for all his people, Jamaica included. Oh, when you read in the scriptures how he treats the islands of the seas, their place of praise and worship, cultural renewal, rejoicing, the islands of the seas sing for joy. So we know that there is a role set for us in the, I would say, in the global thing. In the heart of God, we are a place of refreshment and renewal. There's no wonder, that tourism does so well in this area. Everything about that is perfect for a love relationship.
Prosperity.
And prosperity. But there is a need for us to participate, to partner with God in bringing these things to pass. And even as we are pressing in that direction, you will find that the enemy is going to ramp up the level of intimidation and terror that it imposes to freeze us and to cause us to pull back and to not step forth. The fool who says there's a lion in the street, not going out. So we're all hiding behind doors, believing that there is threat and danger in the street.
When they go out in the street, you say there's not there actually.
In fact, the street's empty.
Yes.
Because everybody else is thinking
it's better than in the street.
So we're saying don't fall for it. Just be sober and take the right corrective measures. It was very much in my mind what happened with this young woman who, whilst in a public hospital, was sexually assaulted. She says it was a sexual assault. The man who she said assaulted her was upstairs bathing. Washing himself off. No, he could have fled the scene. You rape a woman, right away you can see where this is going in terms of the criminal prosecution of the individual. I described that as a red herring to Pastor Percival in the break because I said we are so often distracted by the thing that is either shiny and new or repulsive and horrible, and we go chasing after dealing with that issue, and we forget that it only came to pass because we as a nation, with public facilities that are taking in people of all stripes, we do not make proper arrangements to deal with persons who need special care. That is the problem which we need to fix.
I think it's only enough. We just take proper care to put the necessary resources that the public health facilities can truly function.
But I think that's the same thing.
Yeah, we know. It's just a bigger thing.
Exactly.
We know that, but if that what you have said should fall under everything. And we have taken the funding out of the, say it is free, and it has gone to the pits, to the dogs. Your people in here complain. Maybe, have you ever had the access? Got the public and not private. I've had to do it because of people that I know, and I'm saying, good God, man. It's unfortunate.
Not even for your pet.
No, sir. No, man. I have to do better. Doctor!
So, that's the issue. The hospital in question spoke about putting the beds close to the nursing station, and the immediate question is, well, how many beds can you really put around the nursing station? I hear already that you don't have enough staff, you don't have enough...
I don't have enough nursing. You understand?
Yeah. So, it has to be done. It is non-negotiable. That's the expression. It's non-negotiable. You cannot have, just the way you have a children's hospital where children are accommodated in a certain way because their needs are different. Similarly, persons who have capacity issues, mental health issues,
need to be treated. I have a ward and you deal with it. Yeah.
Very sad.
But you know, remember, a couple of months ago we had dirty hospitals. Before that we had dead babies. And in the middle of that we have people complaining about the guy going to lose his arm because they're waiting 2 years for a procedure. And then it would seem on the face of it that the ministry is seeking to do anything, because there's this public cry out there that says if you have had a procedure, until you need to contact this line so we can try to deal with it. Those people have, you know, they call them non-emergency procedures, like you need to do something, some operation or something, you need to get in touch. It's in the paper, because they even in the pits on the gone, and you need to do it by the end of May so they can see what they can do to fix it. Now, from a project management perspective, if you seek to do that, you probably would have recognized that your normal system not working, so you have to turn it into a project in order to get it done.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if you have a proper, working, functioning public health system, you don't need to put something like that in place. But kudos for the technocrats for saying, you know, let's try to sort of do it. But I'm just wondering if this is election pursuit. It's a sad place to be, that you have to be checking motivation of people every time they do something, you know. But it pains my heart as a Jamaican to see something that looks like a good initiative to try to deal with a problem, but to say, what is the heart, the motivation for doing it? Is it really trying to fix the system? A problem in the system, or it is to have the PR to say, let's why we do that. Minett, I don't like to be in a place like this.
No, and
I don't like to be in a...
all of us are there.
Minett, I don't want to be in a place like this. It is not a... It is not... I don't want to be in a place that when I see something that's supposed to be good, I have to be questioning the motivation of why people are doing stuff. Because if people in the system have been saying for a long time, do this, and long term, based on the research and our experience, we fix it. And we say, no, because that is what we want to do. And even though that looks politically nice, in reality, it's thrown the whole system out of whack. Let me tell you one of the things. We have this thing where we say, no user fee strategy in our hospitals. You speak to the persons who are in the hospitals and they say, that don't make no sense. because we're not getting the resources. And what that did for us, when we collected those user fees, it helped us to be able to buy bandages and simple things that people need for proper health care. You take that away from us, and we don't have anything. You talk to junior doctors, and so they say, yeah, but and we're doing that because it is politically good to say we have no free health care, but it's not really free. Because if you really need services to the MRI, X-ray, you have to go out external to do it, and they don't make any way. It comes back also to Michael Phillips, and yesterday in Parliament, Audley Shaw, who is the Minister for, but Michael Phillips says, do you recall 20 years ago when we looked at transportation and said, we need to have a transportation system. Remember you had the franchises and they had to go, and they said, let's really make this major investment, and it was working. It was working. You were seeking to ensure that JUTC, and then it went to Metro in Montego Bay to put it in the two systems. But you only have 120 buses because what seemed to be working, and remember Colin Campbell, who was made managing director, was doing a good job in terms of BC, and then just throw him out because the party change. And I'm saying to us, now we do not have a transportation system that works for anybody at all. Because even yesterday, Lady Love was complaining about waiting on a bus for 2-3 hours. You remember she was, yes, she said you can't and this thing, so you move from 2,000, according to what Phillips was saying, to over 7,000 Hackney license in the system, and you don't have a clear
needs are not being
you don't have a clear, coherent policy of what it is. And you remember too, when they announced the $279 million US dollar bypass from Montego Bay, somebody had put on the table, you could fix the transport in Kingston by investing $30 million US dollar to do a rail that moves people safely around the city of settings.
And you see the minister now saying,
apparently,
because that's the political movement. While at the same time, there's a headline that says that the PPV operators are being priced out of this loan window, the loan facility that is supposed to assist them. They can't afford to participate in it. So it will be another window that looks promising, but offers no comfort. I want to, on my list of things which I wanted us to consider and address, this morning's headline. There are two stories. One is full of hope, and the other one is challenging. Savagery is the headline. A 7-year-old girl was kidnapped, beaten, and raped in St. Mary. The community is called Fellowship Hall. You know Fellowship Hall?
I'm doing through there.
7-year-old girl was the victim of a savage sexual attack after she was kidnapped for hours in the quiet rural community of Fellowship Hall in St. Mary on Tuesday. Residents and police sources have disclosed. Let me dive into it because the report allows you to draw certain conclusions. The child left for school, never arrived at school. She was found in the 5 p.m. region, a time of day, by another child, having dragged herself out of the place where she was assaulted. But listen to the layout of the community. You can pull it out of the report. According to residents, there were no signs of danger when the child left home early Tuesday for school, said to be located behind her home. The school, is behind her home. You can literally stay in the yard and hear the teachers and the picnic there. That's how close the school is to her home. She was taken in that small window of time and small geographical space. She was taken between the time she left home and ought to have arrived at school. And even if she pulled off her usual path, it can't have been by much because she's still going to school.
She said she was walking to school and somebody put one bag over her head.
Aha. The fact that they put a bag over her head, stuffed her mouth, tells you that more likely than not is somebody known to her.
Yeah.
In that short space. Had to be somebody who, at that hour of the morning, is close enough to the house, close enough to the school, they have snatched her. Somebody they know. In a little community like that, not a stranger who came in and spoke out and just opportunistically snatched a 7-year-old girl. When something like that happens in a community, a small community, and we don't need to even go through what this child survived, and this is how you know that there is God and there is purpose. A small child like that was beaten, sexually assaulted, and left for dead. She came to, her consciousness restored, and she dragged her body out of the building where she was taken and ended up under a mango tree. And another child, let me tell you something, the children of Jamaica, I have such great hope for you. Because a child was so traumatized and she was discovered by another child. Just the trauma of seeing this child must be indelible for the one who found her. And she's receiving care. I know that God is capable of healing and restoring, and for this terrible experience to become a lightning rod for change in this nation, because those children will grow up and take their place. And they will see, understand, know how we failed them, that these things could have happened to them. And they will make a determined effort to ensure that their children, their descendants, don't fall prey to the same thing. So we talk about the savagery and the depravity and the terror and intimidation that is imposed on this nation. It will have the opposite effect. It will not succeed in killing the spirit of our people. It will have the opposite effect.
It will cause for the baby to be born.
The baby going born with knowledge and intent and will rise above these circumstances.
We speak that, and so Lord, even at this point in time, we as leaders, as elders in this nation, we repent for this
The
thing.
residents believe that her attacker was amongst the people who were searching for her. It must have been because it's somebody in the community who did that. Residents believe her attacker was part of a group that went in search of her after she was reported missing.
Father,
the police have someone in custody, by the way.
Father, and we pray even now for that young girl, that indeed you, Holy Spirit.
Louder.
Father, we come and we repent as a people for how we have treated the children in this nation in Children's Month. We repent on behalf of everybody, Lord, because we understand and know that because we have walked away from your divine instructions and path, this is what results. But we thank you, God, that there's a path of restoration. And we thank you, God, that even in terms of what is happening, Lord, your purposes for this nation will come forth. Lord, indeed, we declare birth, newness, life over this nation. And we commit that young lady to you even now, that little girl. We come against that spirit of trauma, that spirit of rejection, that spirit that would seek to overtake her even now in the name of Jesus. We thank you, Holy Spirit, that even now in this time you are intervening, you are intervening, you are intervening, you are intervening. And so we cancel even now. We cancel even now every spirit that now would believe that they have authority over her entrance. We close that portal even now in the name of Jesus and declare that in her spirit and in her body she will be well even now in Jesus' name.
Amen. So the sign of hope, I told you there's a picture of great hope.
Yes.
Right below that terrible story. A beautiful picture of a teacher in the mother role, a teacher and her student. Charmin Livermore, who teaches grade 4R at the Holy Rosary Primary School in Kingston, consoles her student Kamara Holden, who broke down crying while apologizing to her because he was not able to get her a gift for Teacher's Day. This picture is our future.
That's why I'm telling you.
This right here.
That's right. That's right.
Future.
So when you
the story up there, that's not the future. That story is a key to unlocking our children to being the change that we
empathetic, passionate, yes.
But
yes.
this one
Speak
right
hope.
Teacher in our mother role, holding and comforting our student, because he don't know that just the love and the respect and his heartfelt apology.
His honor.
Honoring his teacher, man. He couldn't get her a gift.
But he does that because we speak often about heart, and I declare over Jamaica, the Jamaican children. I'm so grateful that somebody in diaspora prayed, and if you listen to the prayer that he prayed over our children and the teachers yesterday, we declare everything that was prayed becomes a reality. And those of us who are listening online, I want to just go back to our time of prayer yesterday in terms of Pastor Anthony Nelson, just speaking over the children. We spoke about hope and love and all of those things. We declare, we release that over our children even now in this nation. Because every time God is doing something new, he causes for a child to be born. So every child that is born speaks to hope. Speak to hope, speak to something new, speaks to something different, speaks to change. And we thank you, God, that even with all the trauma, Lord, and the fear and the insecurity, the spirit of insecurity that is being unleashed over this nation, we cancel it even now, Father, in the name of Jesus. And we thank you that indeed you make an open show of every principality, every power. He's destroyed the work of the enemy. And we declare even in this time that, God, you are doing something, and we begin to see it happening. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Right. So the moving a little closer to some business matters, because in a short while, our guest from our friends at JPS will be joining us. We're having Marilyn. Marilyn is coming back. Marilyn of my alma mater, St. Hilda's.
This is McDonald.
Well, McDonald is her maiden name. I think her married name is Taylor, but she doesn't use it.
It's McDonald.
So it's Ms. McDonald. She's going to be joining us this morning, and I want to talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing with Marilyn. We continue to really appreciate the partnership with JPS, because I hope that through it, others are learning a lot more about the policy behind or the energy sector, and you're learning how to assert greater control over your consumption and your expenditure, and also you're learning to position JPS more as a partner than as an enemy, because this future, the future of Jamaica, is going to be built on partnerships that give value to both sides, or as many sides as are a part of it. We try to position government in your contemplation as well, as a necessary partner, and I mean,
as a major partner, facilitator of us as a country.
Facilitate our growth and our access.
And people that said then turn blockage.
Resources. And regardless of what your actual experience might be, there is great potential for things to improve.
Yeah.
Depending on
that's how we keep speaking it.
Who you put there and how they perform and how we encourage them and monitor certain things. This morning there is a story about taxi operators not being able to access the government loans that were set for them. Thousands of public passenger vehicle operators across the island have been priced out of a $200 million loan facility earmarked by the government for the sector after microfinance institutions, these are institutions through which
give you the money.
Microfinance institutions proposed a slew of requirements for loan take-ups, including interest rates ranging from 7 to 13% that were reportedly beyond their reach. No. We talk about this all the time.
7 to 13%, but that's...
If that fails, you're supposed to have low interest rates.
But the government put in $200 million.
Yeah.
And the PPV guys should be able to get it.
They should be able to access it. So
this is cheap money to the government.
If you were to divide it, 37,000 people wanting to access $200 million, what would that give you? If everybody qualifies?
A vehicle don't care. Only 200 people could have get that. If you put everybody vehicle calling just $1 million minimum of $1 million.
No one. Listen to the update. Cleaners made a query on Wednesday. They asked Development Bank of Jamaica for a status report. The DBJ acknowledged that no one, not a single one, from the group of approximately 37,000 operators has so far benefited from the initiative announced by the Minister of Finance last year. No one, not one. The revelation comes 8 months after the DBJ unveiled the revolving loan as the government sought to counter the after effects of COVID-19 and help accelerate the island's economic recovery. Each person could get what, 5,400?
What is it? Right?
Oh, the numbers don't lie.
No, man,
don't lie.
Nobody is a joke.
That is a joke business.
Even some producer, $200 million that is up to 1,000 people. That's $5,000 per person. Joke business that.
Everyone qualified.
Joke business that. They can't.
As it is, no one has qualified. No one. Not a single man has qualified. It's one of the Machiavellian moves. You look like you're doing something.
$200 million.
With song and dance and drum rolls, and nobody is able to enjoy it. Oh my God. Mr. Clark should regard that as a failure. So they've approved this money to be disbursed through microcredit institutions, and those institutions have laid out the eligibility requirements, and nobody can qualify.
No, but what is if you're buying a new vehicle now, depending on where you go, it is...
No, Percy, you need to stay. How much it comes? If everybody qualifies, what should they get? $200 million being disbursed to me.
$5,000, $5,405. You know that can't be paid for your motor vehicle fitness. That's $6,000.
That can't pay for you if you travel from a country, come up here, come meet with the
joke business. And I tell people,
if you have to travel past through the toll on the Ocherias to Kingston,
one of them is $1,900, so that's $3,000 back and forth. That's $3,800.
Basically $4,000. If you pay toll, you can't buy gas.
What they can't.
And that's the calculation that when the minister announced something like that, who is he really seeking to address? Ray, you must assume that everybody needs it because it is to help with the recovery from COVID, and everybody needed help to recover from COVID. 200 million, please.
No, at 200 million in December.
That Kevin could get in Mr. Bleaching former yacht.
Hello, is that joke? No, joke business that.
Lord have mercy, need we say more?
Joke business.
So the market, they say the rates are not feasible. There was strong interest in such a facility up to the launch event in August. But hear what now? It's not just that the PPV operators can't access it. The microfinance institutions themselves don't want to participate in it.
Why they don't want to do it? Because the money...
They would have to charge it not feasible.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Because if it's...
price, you know...
No, but so what do they give it to? So DBJ give 200 million to microfinance, but it's like
it must be on some terms that the terms they give it at would require the microfinance institutions to charge rates of 7 to 13%. The MFIs indicated that the revised interest rates of 7 to 13% were not feasible for them, and that operators claimed that they were not required to provide collateral. So you're borrowing this money for the recovery of the business, You probably already have a lien on your motor vehicle, and you must provide collateral. Wouldn't this be something guaranteed or backed by the government of Jamaica?
Yeah, but I don't want to do it.
Further, DBJ said Taxi Association representatives claim that the 13% interest rate was too high. Oh, we did. That's true. We're past our break by 4 minutes. Let's take it now then. We owe you some time, Lord.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. You're simply the best.
Bess FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Hello, I'm Debbie Russ with the BBC News. The United Nations Human Rights Council has been meeting at an emergency session in Geneva to discuss the ongoing conflict in Sudan amid reports of widespread human rights violations. UN aid agencies have warned of an unfolding humanitarian catastrophe, with hundreds of thousands of people fleeing the violence and aid supplies being looted or blocked from reaching those in need. Imogen Folks reports from Geneva.
Opening the session, the UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk accused both sides in Sudan's conflict of trampling on international law, citing airstrikes on homes and hospitals and millions of people struggling to access food and medicine. A number of African states, including Sudan itself, did not want this meeting, which they view as finger-pointing. The Sudanese ambassador told the council his country's problems were an internal affair.
Israeli forces and Palestinian factions in Gaza have continued to exchange heavy fire for a third day in their biggest confrontation for almost a year. Overnight, Israel killed a fourth senior member of the Palestinian militant group Islamic Jihad. Tom Bateman is in Jerusalem.
What this showed was the Israelis have been continuing this so-called targeted killing policy. They said that he ran their rocket launching unit, Islamic Jihad's rocket launching unit, and that had come after a day where we saw waves of rocket strikes from the Gaza Strip into Israel, more than 500 rockets, the Israelis said, some reaching as far as Tel Aviv, many of those shot down, some falling short.
On the first anniversary of the death of the Palestinian-American journalist Shireen Abu Akleh, her family, friends and colleagues have renewed calls for accountability over her killing. Abu Akleh was shot in the head while reporting for Al Jazeera in the occupied West Bank. A UN probe concluded that she was killed by Israeli forces. The Israeli army has said there was a high possibility she was killed by a soldier, but says it was accidental. An Al Jazeera journalist in the Palestinian territories, Walid al-Amari, said they would continue their campaign for those responsible to be punished.
We want to achieve justice for Shireen. When we talk about justice, we mean, first, we want the killer to be held accountable, as well as the body to which they belong. Second, we want protection for ourselves, as journalists in general, as Al Jazeera journalists, and as Palestinian journalists.
The Supreme Court in Pakistan has ordered the authorities to present the former Prime Minister Imran Khan, who's in custody, before the judges. Mr. Khan's lawyers complained that his detention on Tuesday at the High Court complex was illegal. Mr. Khan's detention has triggered protests by his supporters across the country. Several senior leaders from his party have also been taken into custody. BBC News. President Volodymyr Zelensky has said Ukraine needs more time while it waits for further promised military aid before it can launch a counter-offensive against occupying Russian forces. But he says Ukrainian brigades are otherwise ready. In a televised interview, Mr. Zelensky talked up the chances of battlefield success, but he warned of the risks of a frozen conflict, which he said Russia was counting on. The head of the Russian paramilitary group Wagner, Yevgeny Prigozhin, has accused Mr. Zelensky of being cunning as regards a counter-offensive. He said such an offensive was already underway. The British Defence Secretary has confirmed that Britain is giving cruise missiles to Ukraine, which gives Kyiv the capability of striking targets at a longer range. Speaking in the House of Commons, Ben Wallace said the Storm Shadow missiles would complement other arms Ukraine has, including the US-made HIMARS system. He called it a calibrated, proportionate response, adding Britain would not stand by while Russia killed civilians. The world's largest maker of iPhones, Foxconn, has reported an unexpected 56% fall in first quarter net profits. The global economic slowdown appears to have deeply affected consumer demand. Our Asia business correspondent Nick Marsh says Foxconn is facing a lot of uncertainty.
Back in November, they had to deal with mass worker protests at the world's biggest iPhone factory in central China. Now, the zero COVID policies that sparked those protests, they were eventually abandoned, but the economic bounce back that many had hoped for, that hasn't really kicked in yet.
One of the four candidates in Sunday's presidential election in Turkey says he's dropping out of the race. Muharrem İnce, an opposition politician who stood against the incumbent Recep Tayyip Erdogan in 2018, has been trailing the other candidates. The main opposition candidate, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, is ahead in the opinion polls, but his lead has been narrowing.
We're just a click away. www.bestfm.com. Streaming live on the internet.
This parenting tip is brought to you by Best 100 FM. What you do matters. This is one of the most important principles. What you do makes a difference. Your kids are watching you. Don't react on the spur of the moment. Ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish? And is this likely to produce the result? Remember, good parenting helps foster empathy, honesty, self-reliance, self-control, kindness, cooperation, and cheerfulness. This parenting tip was brought to you by Best 100 FM, giving you the better vibe.
Get healthy, my friends. Stay balanced. Tune into this station, Best FM 100, every Saturday morning, 8 o'clock to 9, for this wonderful program, Your Health Today, with me, Dr. Clarion Palmer. Yes, get healthy, get healthy, get healthy. Stay balanced. Best FM 100, Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, with me, Dr. P. Get healthy.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. I invite you to join us for the Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ radio program with Elder Kendrick Murray, where we stand firm that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. This broadcast is heard every Saturday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. and again on Sundays from 4 to 5 p.m. The church is located at 3550 Pleasant Valley Road here in Mobile, Alabama, in the United States. You may visit our website at sonofgodlives.org or our YouTube page at Minister K. Murray. Or you may call us at area code 251-300-8812. God bless you, and we look forward to you tuning in to the program.
Half a tree. When I'm ready, 200. Ready, mama. Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
Bess 100 FM presents the Mature and Moving Up Show with Lascelles Butch Chen on Thursdays from 6 to 9 p.m. Welcome to this pioneering radio program on our continuing worth in our maturing years. Compellingly defined to educate and liberate the younger generation. Tune in and welcome.
discussions on health and education, inspiring interviews, surprise giveaways, your favorite songs. Tune into Best 100 FM this and every Sunday at 11:30 to 12 noon. It's Distinction 411, your weekly college magazine program hosted by James and the Distinction family. Catch you on Sunday.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100.
Wagwan.
Guten Tag.
Buongiorno. We are the Kingstones.
I think I love you, Bess FM, because you're better than the rest of them. It's so amazing how I love you, Bess FM, because you're better than the rest of them.
Good morning and welcome back. All right, so in this segment, we're going to be joined by the JPS representative, Marlon McDonald, who is going to be talking to us about their community renewal program. I love it that that's what's happening this morning, because as we talk about these things happening in communities, we have to kind of stay connected to the issues as they arise, because they happen in communities. They don't happen to you and me, for whom it's not our community.
Yeah.
It's like it happened in a strange place. But every one of these incidents that take place occur in a community where people know each other, are accustomed to moving and dealing with each other, and there are some expectations that certain things either will not happen, can happen, or maybe in some cases you even know who the usual suspects are. When something goes down, most residents can say, "Me sure said this one or that one," because such is life in a community.
I know everybody.
You know.
But
yeah.
I want to comment on that. But that is no longer the case in a lot of communities. Because
you have to work with the right definition of community. Jamaica has made community a whole different thing. One side of a street is a community. When you work with the definition of community as being confined to those persons who work together and have a communal feeling for each other, you discover that a community may be a household.
All right. So it's so important that you define what you're talking about.
To define.
Yeah, because that's an important definition.
Yeah.
Because
covered that a long time ago.
Because all right, so I've seen that work. It's way out, having worked in communities in the inner city, and I could not understand it. How people live and work in the same community and they are in close proximity to each other, could not cross a border.
Because you're thinking of community as a geographic construct, and it isn't. It's a social construct.
Yes, that's
it. First and foremost.
It surely is, but that means so we're a community of persons.
Yeah, you know why it's not based on geography?
Anymore.
Because I don't think it was ever based on geography. It's a social construct. It's not geography, because in Europe, for example, where states share borders, physical borders, one man living right there so is part of the European Union of X, and the next one living across the road. It's like America and Canada on their border. But there's a house that the back door opens into America. The house is in Canada. You need a visa to go into here. I mean, there's a joke about it, and I think they have some. It's like it's a curiosity. So community, first and foremost, is a social concept. It is not based on geography. That is why you can have neighboring communities that consist of a couple of houses.
Right.
Half of the street is one community because it's based on the relationship that exists between the members of the community.
That's correct.
Right. So it's not based on geography.
Do you say that? You said right? Because I wanted. It's not good that you with a very excellent that you clarified. So no. Everything happens in community.
All things happen in community. And here we have JPS is doing a community renewal program, which they, in their having applied the right degree of expertise to study the matter, they realize that much of the problems that they experience can be solved if communities performed better. And some of the help that communities need to find their legs, they're giving it that help. When Martin comes, we'll dive a little deeper into it. Mr. Vaz, in his presentation to Cabinet, said the cost of electricity in Jamaica would go down by 9% if we reduce the theft. Because remember, JPS operates on a fixed rate of return model for their investment in the country. The rates that you get charged include compensating them for the thievery. At the same time, the rates are supposed to be adjusted to ease the burden on us for any inefficiencies that are in their operation.
Because when Mrs. Johnson said that, yes, when she was last week, she pointed to that, the fact that in some countries, the government takes into consideration electricity theft in terms of how the cost of doing it. She made some,
Well, in a competitive market, I don't know, in a competitive market, you have to safeguard your own revenue. But in a monopoly market, and there's a part of the operations in the industry sector that is a monopoly, many people can generate electricity and sell it into the grid. But JPS has a monopoly on distribution. So, and distribution is where the theft occurs. The unauthorized abstraction of electricity. You can't really put it in your bag and carry it. You're pulling it from the same grid over which they have a monopoly. The minister is here quoted as saying that if we wipe out theft and other losses, light bills would go down by 9%. If we took out taxes or reduced the level of taxation, it would be an even more remarkable.
That's what he said also?
No, it's not. I'm saying.
You tongue-in-cheek saying that. I was just thinking, he actually said that. He was brave enough to say that.
He says, the point is made that the severe problem of electricity theft in Jamaica, which has caused legal paying customers, he didn't get the lesson on consumers versus customers. Or let me say then, Mr. Edmund Campbell, senior staff reporter, has been exposed to the customer-consumer divide.
Right.
Because you don't have to talk about legal paying. If you just say customers pay. Consumer, illegal paying. No such thing.
Consumers and your customers.
So customers of the JPS have to dig deeper into their pockets to defray the cost of those accessing power free of cost. He says it would free of cost. He says it would significantly reduce the expenditure on energy if we could take care of the illegal abstraction, let's call it that. In his contribution to the sectoral debate, Minister Vaz said that theft was a growing threat to the power grid and, to a greater extent, public safety.
So somebody look like somebody write that speech after that.
Well,
you always have speech writers,
yeah.
Yeah, to say the right things.
Vaz reported that in 2022, Jamaica's level of non-technical losses accounted for 20% of the electricity generated. What was that?
Non-technical loss, you know what a non-technical loss is, Steve? You have technical loss because it says to move the electricity from the point of generation into the lines, you lose something. It happened because that's what happens in the physical energy going out different ways. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So 20% of the electricity generated is not paid for. And every legal customer, he says, of the JPS is paying for this 20%. They are looking at, there's a working group to define strategic policies aimed at eliminating losses through improved loss management, metering infrastructure, and supplementary financing. How does financing reduce loss? If successful, the policy initiatives categorized under the 4 thematic areas could reduce electricity rates by 8.7% or more. Can you imagine getting a bill with an 8 to 10% reduction? Please, nobody notices 8 to 10%. You need to take off GCT of 17% or 15%. 15%. You need to take that. You need to reduce. If you reduce taxation alone, you will be happy.
But I think all of us would be happy, but then the government said, what are we going to use to do with the social program that need up, like education and health?
And then the minister did something which is as futile as the citizens calling on politicians to stop the corruption. The minister appealed to Jamaicans who are stealing electricity to cease and desist.
So you put it in the same class? So now, miracles are happening. Come on, miracles. Yeah, we come out of the season of miracles and it continues. So here's the miracle. So, Mr. Minister, here's what we are saying to you. We will repeal it and we will stop the stealing. Yes.
Because if you stop stealing, you could actually do more for us, so we have more money to
Yes, the GDP will go up by 4 to 5%.
I always find it kind of funny when politicians or anybody appeal to the criminal. There's a reason you call them criminals. They don't care about your good objective or your good intention. They are deliberate. Marlene says traffic is crazy, but she's on our way. Yeah.
No, but. So we've had 2 major budget presentations. One from transport, which is not in a good state generally in our country. And now another thing that affects us, it is technology. He's technology. Yeah. And he's appealing instead of doing what he's supposed to be doing.
He's asking the people who are stealing. We're asking you, take down the taxes. GCT on electricity makes no sense. We pay GCT on every input for electricity. And we are asking politicians to quit the stealing. When you stop
the corruption, and we'll be good.
Yeah. Make that a covenant.
If you do that, if you did that, people say, oh my God.
People shame people into being.
Yes, and I'm saying there's a logic that says you don't, let's bring it closer home to family. I cannot say to my son or my daughter, you do not do that. But then I turn around and do the same thing that
all he sees you doing.
Yes. And what it does for me is that I've lost credibility in the eyes of my children. That will tell us not to do it and you do the same thing. So what happens is that they become deaf to what their father is saying. As in our thing, they would say, pick up yourself, Daddy. That's us.
All right, before we get to the break, we have 2 minutes. I just want to say a little bit more on what we're going to go into with Miss Marilyn when she gets here. And a little history. The Community Renewal Program was first established in 2014, and JPS credits it as being successful in regularizing thousands of households across the island. When she's here, Marlene will get into what the Community Renewal Program is all about.
The training.
The communities that they have worked in and ones that they are getting into this year. So brace yourself, maybe your community will be amongst those to be refreshed. And some of the initiatives that are used to engage and assist residents and their partners. And she is bringing giveaways, mind you. I don't think we still have 2 giveaways from the last one. No one has attempted to answer the question. Marlene will have 2 JPS Energy Test vouchers to give away. She will have 2 questions, and the first person to answer each correctly will win a $5,000 energy voucher. So now we will have 4 vouchers. I would have thought more persons would be interested.
Yeah, because when in the energy voucher, I think you pay electricity bill, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah.
So then what is the problem?
If you were eligible, I would just let you answer the question.
Yeah, but we're not eligible.
You're not.
That's not nice.
Right, so we look forward to Marlene joining us in a few moments when we get back from the break. We owe Lloyd 4 minutes, so we're trying to give it back a minute at a time.
Just a click away. www.bestfm.com. Streaming live on the internet.
This parenting tip is brought to you by Best 100 FM. What you do matters. This is one of the most important principles. What you do makes a difference. Your kids are watching you. Don't react on the spur of the moment. Ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish? And is this likely to produce the result? Remember, good parenting helps foster empathy, honesty, self-reliance, self-control, kindness, cooperation, and cheerfulness. This parenting tip was brought to you by Best 100 FM, giving you the better vibe.
Hello. Pastor Howard Palmer here, coming to you from New York City, this and every Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. That's right, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. this and every Saturday morning, right here on Best 100 FM. Don't you miss it.
Here we are, standing in the Glory Connect. Join us on Best FM with Apostle Prophetess Denise Wellington and Pastor Alicia Gonzalez Morgan. Every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Best FM Radio. Come out and discover your purpose. Take up that phone and dial now. Call and experience something new. Experience something great. Experience your own expression of encountering the supernatural glory of God's abundant life and transformation being fulfilled. What are you waiting for? Are you depressed, oppressed, worn out, tired, or stressed? Have you discovered your true purposes yet? This is the moment. What are you waiting for? Connect now to Glory Connection. Call and experience the Word of God, intercession, healing, and deliverance. Experience something great. Receive salvation and breakthrough. Connect. Tell a friend, family, and your neighbor. See you then.
Veg & Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Vijay Printers, your best choice in printing.
Hey everybody, Apostle Prophetess Dr. Juliet Fagan here. I've got some good news for you. Many of you have asked and God has delivered. Guess what? Join me this and every Sunday, that's right, this and every Sunday evening, 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. Catch me right here on BES 100 FM, that's right, on Friend of a Wounded Heart, an extension of Vision Miracle Church of God. And so on behalf of Bishop Leroy and myself and all the brethren of Vision Miracle Church of God, I'm looking forward to having you Sundays, 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. right here on BES FM 100.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on BES 100.
Log on.
Guten Tag.
Buongiorno.
We are
The Kingstones.
I think I love you, Bess FM, because you're better than the rest of them. It's so amazing how I love you, Bess FM, because you're better than the rest of them.
Good morning, welcome back to the Morning Connection. As we are into our JPS section feature, Minett in intro was speaking about technical versus non-technical loss. Technical loss occurs in the transfer of electrical current between electrical installations. While they cannot be mitigated in their entirety, they can be calculated and significantly reduced through the correct installation methods and practices. So these are the losses due to conductor resistance, due to induction of electromagnetic fields, the electric losses due to insulation material between the conductors, losses due to harmonic distortion, and losses due to poor earthing. But the non-technical losses, which is what they are seeking to reduce, are related to on-site testing equipment, but it's for customers who don't pay their bills. And they say, to fix that, you install prepayment meters, or you put in systems that can evaluate. But the main thing of non-technical losses, you have like meter tampering, hooking or bypassing the meter. We call that thief in electricity in Jamaica. So those are the things, wrong meter readings or meter is faulty. So the main thing they're saying for non-technical losses, which is what the minister was talking about, is for people to pay their electricity bills on time. So we find it interesting, but that is what technical versus non-technical loss is.
So to put it in the right context now, the minister says that non-technical losses accounts for 20% of the electricity generated.
So that means that if you...
We're stealing 20% of the output.
Although
it's pretty high.
Yeah, that is right. So if it is if you use $100 to generate electricity, then what he's saying is that $80 is what you really can recover out of that, because $20 out of it. That's what I'm saying.
No, please remember, guaranteed rate of return.
Mm-hmm.
APS don't lose $1.
Okay.
Because the paying customers must cover the consumers.
All the consumers?
Yes.
The customers, the paying customers, rate of
return on their investment, regardless of how many customers are on the grid. It just means that the per customer charge increases.
You put it over more people, yeah. Over a shorter, no, you put the same cost over a smaller group of people, to pay.
Yeah.
So even though you're guaranteed.
So the prepaid metering system is like the hands-down best way of doing it. And honestly, I think it explains why when I went prepaid, the bills dropped by almost 50%.
Right, so that is what it is. Woo, 50%?
Almost. Well, we were getting some outrageous.
Hush, my brother.
That's what
Hush, my sister. What we did. What we do, you know, so.
So this business of the non-technical loss, you understand, it's not JPS loss. Customers have to pay for it because they're guaranteed the revenue for the monopoly side of their business.
Mm-hmm. And that is why JPS God has invested so much of their time and their capital in terms of this community renewal thing. Because they said thousands of people have now come on the grid. So them actually getting more people to pay for the cost of doing
Which means we can consume more.
Yes. Good morning, Miss McDonald.
So we welcome to the table dressed in royal blue. Is that blue or purple? It's actually royal blue. Dressed in royal blue, which means it looked purple. Marilyn McDonald, we were
Happy New Year to you.
Before you, all right.
The first time I share some
All right,
New Year.
first he wants to.
Happy New Year to you, Miss McDonald. How are you?
Yeah. I'm good. It's the first year singing for the year?
Yes.
But don't you see her used to sing in other places before? She's not going to church anymore?
I see her online. Yeah. First time I see for the year. We've been online talking. And congratulations to your beautiful daughter.
Oh, yes. Miss Immaculate. Miss Immaculata. Welcome, Marilyn. I know you had some challenges with crafting. Were you not able to use the electrical hovercraft?
I really take around electrical hovercraft, oh boy. Like the Jetsons.
I'm getting away. Producer, would you please accommodate the lady's luggage? You know, she brought some giveaways and it's in the bag. So, but it's a pleasure to welcome you. We love the talk of the Community Renewal Program. You have spoken about it before, but I would love for you to just reintroduce it. Right now, we've been talking, Percy and I, about things that are happening at the community level. There's a kind of savagery and depravity that is evident in how Jamaicans are treating each other, the children, the women, the old people. No one is safe. We've gone crazy. We know from a more spiritual perspective that you can't fight God and win. And God's plan for mankind is that we are redeemed and reconciled to Him. Not that we become something ugly and despicable, and not all will make it, but we all have to participate in making it happen. And we love what you're doing with the Community Renewal Program. So, 2014 it started?
Yes, we actually launched.
You've been there from the outset?
Yes.
Good. You're the mother.
Yeah.
She birthed it. Talking about birthing.
Yes.
So it's 9 years old and counting.
Yes. What? Really? Yeah, 9 years old.
It's about to go to high school.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So that's been good.
Is the foundation, JPS Foundation, that handles the Community Renewal Program?
No, the foundation pretty much is just like a support arm. So there's really two different entities, but because of the work that we do in communities, the foundation is very integral in supporting the program.
All right. So, let's go then. What is the Community Renewal Program all about?
All right, so good morning, everyone. Yes, and everyone. So the Community Renewal Program, as you hear the word community, so it's really how JPS seeks to reach communities in terms of ensuring that customers or non-customers get electricity in vulnerable communities. So
introduce a new creature.
You heard about customers and we're humans.
Yeah.
So
non-customers.
Yes, but
those are the consumers. The non-customers, the consumers, they come.
Illegal users of the product.
You're not a customer yet, but
over the period of 10, 9 years, we have seen right? And we've seen
category of customer.
Yes, as a merging of technical solutions. So you know that when I speak about technical solutions, we're speaking about the electrical infrastructure.
Yes,
right. And social intervention. And when we speak about social intervention, we're speaking about community engagement, stakeholder engagement, partnership, sponsorship, and customer education, that we between both of them together see how we can encourage users of the product, that are not paying for the product.
The non-customers.
The customers, the consumers, and also existing customers, to manage their supply more responsibly and become customers of GPS. And at the same time, contributing to changing the bill culture, bill payment culture of persons overall. So it doesn't only affect GPS, but it will eventually spill over into other habits.
Okay.
Right.
So you have a whole lot of hope in that those statements, sister, and when she introduced that new one to us, the non-customers, we know them as consumers.
Yeah, we've seen the transformation over time in several projects, so I guess we kind of change the names over time.
Okay, right. Wisdom, that's it. So how many communities are you presently working in? You have had success in the past. You can speak to what has happened in the past and where you are presently working now.
All right, so let me speak to, for 2023, we have 4 major projects that we're looking at, and we're not saying major because we're pretty much changing out the infrastructure that is there, or upgrading infrastructure that is there. So for 2023, we're looking at Tower Hill. We're looking at Lethal, that's in St. Thomas. So Tower Hill is more...
the Prime Minister's constituency.
That's one, that's it.
So that is Olympic Way, that side, Olympic Way, part of Waterhouse.
Yes, around the Tower Hill side there. And we're working in Augustone. So this is like our 3rd phase of Augustone. That's a big area.
Yeah, you come the river and come over the river and all of them places, yeah.
And we're also looking at another section of Franklin. So 4 major
Franklin that big?
Yeah, you have 2 sections. So if you want to use it based on how you explain the Prime Minister's constituency, if you're looking at the political divide, so there's a section where Delaware Chuck is the MP, and there's a section where Percival is the MP. So we would have done this section last year for Delaware Chuck.
Okay, so you're going over to Mr. Samuda now.
Yes.
Now, before you came on, Pastor Percival and myself were just chewing over the different meanings of community. Accepting that it's not based on geography, it's a social construct. And I heard you just now refer to the divide, one community from another in terms of the political now.
So it's Grand Spain, but you have one in Mr. Chuck's constituency and the other in Carsamuda.
Yeah, right. So we have the street names, so...
Okay.
Yeah. But I want to ask you, because at first, the first time I read community renewal, I actually thought of it more from the perspective of the community. No, never geography. You know my orientation. I thought of it more from what's happening out there in your customer base. But I realized that what you're really seeking to do is enlarge the JPS community by moving from non-customer to customer, because JPS itself is a community. What drives your choice of area of focus? And the reason I'm asking is because the Minister Vaz has made some statements reported in the media today. Non-technical losses account for 20%. Is that influencing your choice of area of focus geographically now?
Yeah, to some extent, because what we do really, we try to target the areas initially where we have the greatest losses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are aware of areas that, because we have total meters, and that basically measures the electricity.
A total meter that goes into an area.
Yeah.
So you have like
and
then sub-meters for
right.
So that's like, we not say that on radio, but anyway.
So we and also we know the amount of energy we deliver into one area, and we know what we're collecting for.
Right. So you can identify the difference.
So you can identify the difference.
Interesting.
So we have the percentage loss that we have in areas. And we try our best though to see how we can spread it and not just work in one parish, because we're in St. Thomas this year, we were in St. James last year. So, and we're still in St. James to some extent this year. So we try our best to spread it. And there are communities where persons actually reach out to us to actually come in and look at the communities. So maybe if we don't go in and do major infrastructure,
we're doing work all the time.
We're doing work, doing what is there, and to see how we can persons on board.
That's good. That's good. So you know, so what you're doing with these communities is strategic. No, it's strategic. No, man, it's strategic. So you know what's going in it. So it is. You are doing it based on business. It's not a political.
No. What is partnership in the point that we really need the support of the stakeholders, the MPs, and because if you're going to a community, that stakeholder engagement, and that's what we call stakeholder engagement. So we engage the stakeholders that are in the communities to see how we can have the dialogue with the persons in the community. So it's not a political stance that we take, but it's based on the losses that we're experiencing.
Also, it's more a business decision.
Yeah, but it stands to reason then that you could tell with some specificity that my greatest neighborhood of loss is, let's say, Western Jamaica.
Yes, we can do that. We can do that.
Which means that the citizens of Western Jamaica could be the ones to carry that portion of the loss on air like this.
And not the people in
so the national.
Okay, so if we're gonna look at it that way.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be. Well, use that example, Western Jamaica.
Yes,
we are facing greater losses in certain parishes.
Yeah,
okay.
We are.
Yeah.
And when you also look at it in terms of our losses and just the social construct and communities that you consider vulnerable communities, that's also where we're facing our greater losses. So there's section of Kingston, there's section of St. Catherine.
So that bill should go to the government.
So you said the government,
that requires
you pay that bill. You don't subsidize it, and so that means I have to pay it.
So that we're but what we're doing is not limited to Jamaica alone.
No, man, but somebody said it before.
But also, we lived with it in telecom, so we know what it is to have a guaranteed rate of return, to have an access deficit, and to have it spread across your customer base. We're just messing with it because we love it so much.
We are penalized for losses, so we don't take on the losses because it's
I mean, then penalize the government.
There's an efficiency factor in the rate setting.
Yeah.
So what if you have done all of what you can do?
You make your best case, and if they like it,
so it's based on that you get the increase. It continues. Oh.
May I just say that Earl Brown said, "A pleasant good morning to Miss Marilyn McDonald, my favorite JPS person, the lady with the Mona Lisa smile." I'm sharing that so we could shift the energy from Percy and me trying to hold
Why you blushing?
That's giving him plenty more. Yeah, that was unkind of us to put that question to you. That question did not belong to you.
So
the stakeholder engagement is the part that really triggered the question, because if you can tell that this is an area of loss, you can invite the people in that area to participate in reducing it, because in so doing, they reduce their contribution to covering you for the loss. How is that going? Do you find that beyond the actual consumers, you get the support of those persons who just want to see things regularized?
Yeah, how's that going in terms of stakeholder engagement in the areas that there are? People are open.
Business community, church, and volunteer organizations and so on.
To be honest with you, they're really welcoming because if we're going to use an example, if you live beside me and I'm stealing and you're paying, then obviously you're going to welcome me there to change the construct. And you have,
maybe I'll even report it.
And that's the case because if it's reported and it's not acted on, we come under another set of pressure, right? So you do have the cooperation, but however, initially, like anything is changed, you're gonna have a pushback initially because it's change of mindset, change of mindset. So you will have, and there's some that welcome you, but over time, what we have experienced also is that persons are really happy, and when we come in, the next thing is that they're saying, take the others with you. So they'll say, where's the water?
Yes.
So
are you serious?
Very serious.
So are you doing that? Are you engaging the telecom people?
They're especially
because they use your poles.
Yes.
And roads. So the JSIP is one of your partners.
Yes. So they're one of our partners. They were initial. They're from the initial outset, and now JSIP is partnering through the Ministry of Local Government to continue the work that they're doing. So the Ministry of Local, this is the partnership, and this is where the government is supporting, in that they are assisting persons with house wiring, because one of the deterrents that they'll say to you, because some of them are unemployed, is that they cannot afford the cost of the house wiring cost. So what the government is doing is that they are supporting house wiring, giving house wiring assistance, modules, but no, it is at no cost.
Okay.
Right, to the consumer. So the government and JSIP executes the work on government's behalf. So that's where the partnership is.
But you said something important a while ago. A lot of people are not able to pay for the electricity because they are unemployed. A part of your
electricity, pay for the
house wiring
because
that's one off.
No, but are you also, in terms of these empowerment, community empowerment, looking towards teaching people how to fish?
Oh, it's good that you should go there. So another thing that we do in terms of social intervention, we have partnerships where we try to have skills training. So we would have partnered with the USAID in terms of our empowerment training, entrepreneur empowerment training, to train initially existing persons to be better managers of their own business. And then we have also trained persons to give persons a new skill.
Okay.
Yes, and our partnership extends now beyond the USAID, where we're partnered with Heart Trust NTA. Recently, we partnered with Northern Caribbean University, and there are several times that we would have different stakeholders in the communities, and their sponsorship of training programs or just certification programs, and this is where, led by the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the PIOJ, they would have brought in other agencies, and we also partner with them for skills training.
So, and this can be one of your energy voucher questions. Are there any successes that you can point to coming out of those programs?
Definitely. So the one recently, we would have trained 40 young men and women. So it was really like 38 men and 2 young ladies. And coming out of that, we got 50%, over 50% placement in employment. And all those persons from my last check were still employed. So we would have trained them in solar technology, electrical installation, management.
And this was in Western Jamaica?
So we did it in Western, and we did it in St. Catherine.
Okay.
So the communities that we had trained were from Forest Hill and Clifton,
Yeah, Quarry and Clifton, St. Catherine.
And in St. James was Granville and Montpelier.
So you trained 40 people, 38 males, 2 females, and you had a 50% placement in terms of them getting work.
Yes. So others went on internship.
Right, everybody went on internship.
Everyone went on internship.
But 50%, so that means 20 people have actual jobs at the last.
Yes, at my last job. Yes, and you have persons who actually, even if they didn't get placement, they would have expressed the fact that they would have had existing employment for them hustle.
Them have another side hustle, or main hustle.
And so, yes, so it's
they have
their
a skill to be independent.
Skill to be independent, and yes.
So should we pick questions out of this segment then? Like how many persons were trained and named to the communities?
Yeah, we can do that.
Let's repeat the communities.
Okay, so the communities last year, Quarry Hill. Quarry. Oh. Right.
And Clifton. In St. Catherine.
This is the same place where they tore down the house.
Yes, the same place. And we got that and Granville in St. James.
Yes, Granville and Montpelier.
In St. James.
Yes.
Montpelier.
Wow, so it's 4 communities, 2 in St. James, 2 in St. So the pretty much Clifton.
Right, so Marlon has come bearing gifts. I love the new GPS. They bear gifts. And there are 2 energy vouchers available from this segment. We're choosing 2 questions. I'm proposing that we ask how many persons were trained in the solar technology and electrical installation skills. How many persons? The answer is 40.
So and answer again. Okay.
And to name any 2 communities.
Of the 4 communities where the
persons came. And the communities are Quarry Hill, Clifton, Granville, Montpelier.
Yes.
All right.
I really want them to remember the communities we're working in this year, though. Let's get on board. So Tower Hill, especially I'm saying to Tower Hill.
All right.
The fact that we're actually, Tower Hill, we're actually...
Hold that comment, Marley. We're going to come back a little bit after the break. We're going to give it the extra time, yeah.
Thank you.
We're just a click away. www.bestfm.com. Streaming live on the internet.
This parenting tip is brought to you by Best 100 FM. What you do matters. This is one of the most important principles. What you do makes a difference. Your kids are watching you. Don't react on the spur of the moment. Ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish? And is this likely to produce the result? Remember, good parenting helps foster empathy, honesty, self-reliance, self-control, kindness, cooperation, and cheerfulness. This parenting tip was brought to you by Best 100 FM, giving you the better vibe.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-Time Taxi Service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy.
Nothing is impossible for God is a deliverance ministry dedicated to the preaching of the gospel of Jesus Christ and the healing of the sick. Hosted by Pastor Hutton, right here on Best 100 FM, Sundays, 11 to 11:30 a.m. Tune in. your life will never be the same. Just hearing God's word will bring you a miracle.
Hello. Pastor Howard Palmer here, coming to you from New York City this and every Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. That's right, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. this and every Saturday morning, right here on Bess 100 FM. Don't you miss it.
Here we are, standing in your presence.
Glory Connect. Join us on Bess FM with Apostle Prophetess Denise Wellington and Pastor Alicia Gonzalez Morgan. Every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Bess FM Radio. Come out and discover your purpose. Take up that phone and dial now. Call and experience something new. Experience something great. Experience your own expression of encountering the supernatural glory of God's abundant life and transformation being fulfilled. What are you waiting for? Are you depressed, oppressed, worn out, tired, or stressed? Have you discovered your true purposes yet? This is the moment. What are you waiting for? Connect now to Glory Connection. Call and experience the Word of God, intercession, healing, and deliverance. Experience something great. Receive salvation and breakthrough. Connect. Tell a friend, family, and your neighbor. See you then.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Hey everybody, Apostle Prophetess Dr. Juliet Fagan here. I've got some good news for you. Many of you have asked and God has delivered. Guess what? Join me this and every Sunday. That's right, this and every Sunday evening, 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. Catch me right here on Bess 100 FM. That's right, on Friend of a Wounded Heart, an extension of Vision Miracle Church of God. And so on behalf of Bishop Leroy, myself, and all the brethren of Vision Miracle Church of God, I'm looking forward to having you Sundays, 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. right here on Bess FM 100.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Bess 100.
Wagwan.
Guten Tag.
Buongiorno. We are the Kingstones.
I think I love you, Bess FM, because you're better than the rest of them. It's so amazing how I love you, Bess FM, because you're better than the rest of them.
Welcome back. As we wrap up with, I was going to say Dr. McDonald. Are you pursuing a doctorate in anything? In thoughts. Planning stages?
Yeah, one planet. Oh, wonderful. Oh, my Lord.
I'm serious. Is it in the planning stages? No, it's not. Oh, well, I plant the seed.
Plant the seed.
I never did it even occur to me to see Dr. McDonald until a while ago. It's like, Dr. McDonald.
Dr.
When you finish with your community renewal,
get a doctor. Yeah, right.
Hero McDonald.
So Marlon Mona Lisa McDonald.
McDonald. Oh, it's the name getting bigger. All right, so Marlon has brought gifts. I tell you, we're loving this new JPS thing. 2 energy vouchers, $5,000 each. That could give you, if you're on a prepaid meter and you have modest consumption, that could be a week's supply.
Yes.
It could be a month.
Or more. There are some persons that 2 weeks.
2 weeks on it. Yeah. Well, you get an insight into my life when I tell you. Lord, yeah, but like, you know, a single person.
A single person.
That can be a month for the roof.
Yeah.
Just your bulbs and a small refrigerator. So it's not a small gift. And there too. The questions are going to come from this segment. The first question that you will need to answer is, how many persons were trained, and name 2 communities? So we already know. I'll let Marilyn recap the success story with that. Skills training offered to a number of persons from communities St. Catherine and St. James. But you don't have to say the parish if you can remember 2 of the communities. That's question number 1. The second question, you'd have heard Marilyn speak about where JPS is focusing their attention. 2023. Because you're moving progressively across the nation of consumers who need to become customers. Where are you going to be in 2023?
So we're going to be, we've actually started. Yeah. We're in Tower Hill, Lee Falls, St. Thomas.
Yes.
Auguststone.
Right.
And Grandspend.
So you know they've been in Auguststone and Grandspend before.
Phases.
It's a phased approach. You don't have to remember the phase. Just remember that Augusttown will be getting some additional renewal, and Grandspend and Leap Hall. Now, I think there are more places in Jamaica with names that sound close to it, but this is one in St. Thomas. I think if you're choosing to give us this community, please, you will need to specify that it is St. Thomas.
Yes.
It's important as part of what she's doing.
Yes.
That you know which parish and where.
Where is Lethal?
Yeah,
there are other Lethals in Jamaica.
Tower Hill. Is there another Tower Hill in Jamaica too? I know there's Tower Isle.
No, it's only Tower Hill.
Only one Tower Hill, and the Prime Minister owns it.
Yes. So I guess they know it's Kingston Jamaica.
Everybody knows that.
You own it?
Well, it's his constituency, his people.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
So that's Tower Hill in really St. Andrew.
Yes, it's St. Andrew.
Yeah, Tower Hill. So Tower Hill, Lee Hall, St. Thomas, Grandspend, and Augusttown are the areas of focus.
Are you doing any empowerment through skills training in these new areas that they are doing the community engagement?
Yes, so we're looking at it. We're actually speaking with partners now to see how we can implement a skills training program.
I like what you're doing. I really see it, because you're not only saying you need to pay, but you're giving them the ability. Here's how you're going to pay.
And we also have a best community competition coming on this year. So if you're a community that
pay, everybody pay.
Yes, but you still have to follow the rules.
Everybody must
come
pay.
online by a certain time. We have a certain reduction in losses. We can identify a project that you want to look at within the community, and
That's the prize?
Yeah.
The prize is that
so it has to be a community.
So we love that. Absolutely.
And this communities that she's named is a group of people living in a geographic area.
Right. Yeah, if you're going to talk about doing a project.
Yes, you are. Yes, yes, right.
What else should we touch on before we release it? You know, we keep you here all day.
So we just need to tell persons to, for example, as I'm saying, Tower Hill, we will be cutting over. When I say cut over, that means the infrastructure that is existing, that you had access to legally, we'll be removing it. We'll be retiring it.
Let's use spread the word.
We're retiring.
So your access is going to be
terminated.
Difficult.
From the world.
What we're doing now, we're taking it to the primary.
A bit difficult.
Yeah, a bit difficult. So we're encouraging persons not to wait until the last minute to go in now and sign your contract. You need your ID, your TRN, your letter of permission from the owner if you are the owner.
You need a land title.
You need proof of ownership if you have that proof of ownership. And just and ensure the premises would have been certified and passed by a government electrical regulator.
So that means you said in the past you were working with local government. So for persons in this phase who have had difficulty, their houses have been passed with help from.
Right.
Okay.
For some communities.
Okay.
Because I guess you're working on a budget, so they choose which community. So, but Tower Hill. Naturally from that. So, but there are persons, however, who may not have benefited that they need to go and get themselves in readiness. So we're encouraging persons, and for all these projects, our target completion date is in July, except so Toy would have started earlier, so we're targeting the end of this month.
In preparation for your cutover is scheduled to take place by the end of this month.
They've been working on it.
Yes, we have been having community engagement meetings, door-to-door visit, flyers, town criers, consultations. So it has been constant engagement, constant temporary offices where we actually go in with the GPS team and we set up more offices there for persons to come in and sign contracts, so they don't even have to go to the parish.
So you have bent over backward to ensure. So when you make it difficult to extract electricity from the line, are your fault?
So I think it's important for Jamaicans who are not in Tower Hill to understand the process that you go through, because a lot of times we see disquiet and protestation in the street in our community about something that has happened, and many of us don't appreciate how we got there, and we might even come to a judgment that is, misconceived. Yeah. So at this stage, given what you've done, you would have identified all the number of households in the community that are occupied.
Yes.
So you could say at this point what level of take-up has already occurred.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And so you know that there's a gap. So we can anticipate that come cutover day, there are going to be some people protesting.
Well, we hope not, but
meaning,
that situation.
Well, meaning, I take back the protesting. There are going to be some people inconvenienced.
Yes,
because they have not as yet,
and they need to realize that once you go out to supply, persons, because they now come and sign the contract today, they expect it tomorrow. It's not going to happen that way, because you're still working. We're serving Jamaica in terms of the resources, so you will now still fall into the loop of.
So the earlier you get your paperwork in train, the quicker it is, because
we're urging persons to come on board. We're really urging persons to come on board.
I think most people know that when light cut, it cut. It's not like it cut and then it come back and it cut again. It's a gradual thing. When it's done, it's done. So if you can't manage the shock of it, put your house in order from early. Well, I tell you, I say it on air, we are scheduled to do outdoor broadcasts in various communities. I would love to come and be a part of sensitizing persons to the importance of getting it done right and on time. And sometimes, even on our program, we've had to say to persons who are saying they were treated badly or hard, we have to say, no, you haven't been wrong. You should have acted with knowledge.
Taking personal responsibility.
Take responsibility. So
you need to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
So we're glad I must applaud you guys, because GPS Plus have become friendlier.
The knowledge, we know them better.
And we thank the persons who have come on, really, really want to thank, and they have really experienced a difference. Just the fact that there's a sense of pride, that you're a customer and you're paying. You have elderly persons who have been in this situation for years, and the satisfaction to be a legal customer, it's really amazing. So we want to change the mindset of our children that stealing is not the way to go. We want you to become legal customers, legal citizens, and it will be the positive for you and your community as a whole. So that's what we're really, really encouraging persons to come on board.
Of course, you know that when Jamaicans have legitimate access,
yes,
they use it.
Definitely.
And they expect to get top quality service. So, you're prepared for that.
Definitely.
These are the customers who don't want no power surge. If the fridge get knocked, you better pay for it.
So they have to encourage your other person to stop stealing.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my Lord. Yes.
Marlene, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Of course, we don't take calls on Thursdays, so your prize will have to be delivered in the course of the week, but it extends the shelf life of the conversation.
Okay.
Percy and I will repeat it on Monday, and when people begin to call in, we'll give them an opportunity to answer the questions, and it gets the issue is revisited as the week progresses, and then by Thursday we'll have the winner, and it's Earl Brown. You can send them a photo.
Send them a photo.
Of your smile. So we wish you all the success with your community renewal project.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, Mr. Producer, thank you for miking her and cameraing her. Yeah. How close are we to another break? No, not close enough. All right, Percival. We can pretend that Marilyn isn't here now. So what do you think about the JPS community?
I think it's a wonderful initiative. I've been involved with JPS when I was working at PDI Burstone as the principal coordinator of the institute, because they actually engage us in terms of training people, that component in terms of giving people a skill so that they would be able to earn a living, and those people got the skill and they are now in a better position to pay their life. So I like that in terms of and that was in the Maxi area, because we had places there that the people were illegally extracting electricity. They were consumers but not customers.
So here's why I asked. At first, I was looking at the community renewal initiative and saying, we were thinking of it as the communities in Jamaica from which their customers come. And then it dawned on me that it actually has two meanings. The JPS community itself is going through a process of renewal.
True.
I looked at the many meanings of community because you and I were talking about it. A community is a unified body of individuals, such as people with common interests living in a particular area. So two things are fundamental to that definition. You must have common interests, and you must be living in a discrete area.
Discrete geographic area.
Right. Then you have another meaning, a group of people with common characteristic or interest living together within a larger society. So you're within a context. Then you have the body of persons, common and especially professional interests, scattered throughout a larger society.
Like an academic community.
Right.
Or scientific community.
Then you have a body of persons or nations having a common history or common social, economic, and political interests.
Like CARICOM community.
Yes, or
CARICOM.
European Union, or black people all over the world who share slavery. Large community. A community can be a group linked by a common policy.
True.
Like the LGBTQ. Just always have to remember that.
LGBTQ. IQ?
No, there's I know. Putting yourself
as a go as you go along, you add, let's see what you see.
Until it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Oh, boy.
And then there's another, I'm just looking at the different meanings so we understand community in the broadest context. An interacting population of various kinds of individuals, such as species, the community of mankind, in a common location. And it keeps going, but as you keep going, you realize now there is a meaning of community which is digital, purely digital.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah.
You exist only in.
That is what has happened with social media.
Virtual realm, like social media, the TikTok community, the Instagram community, and influencers within that community. It all takes on a new meaning. I think JPS is itself changing as a community.
Yes.
Trying to increase the numbers of persons in their community who have legitimate access.
Moving people from
non-customer to customer.
Yes. So they're consumers. But it's always fascinating. And I remember when Miss Johnson was there, she was telling us some stories offline that you can't repeat on here, but in terms of the engagement and the empowerment in the community. But so it is. But we applaud JPSCO for the work that they're doing. They are using a different strategy in order to get more people to become a part of their community, and they recognize some of the inherent challenges that people have in terms of becoming customers.
How to transfer from being a freeloader to one who can pay for your place at the table.
Do you think
and
that
we say it's different strategy for them, but isn't it really an ancient, valid, workable strategy that comes from the Father's heart?
Which is?
To engage with people, to give them love and attention and meet their needs.
They always say, "Naga pastor, God meets you where you're at." So they engage in that strategy to meet people where they're at and to move them along it's even about even when you become a Christian, there are different places on that continuum that you move from as you become more and more like Christ.
Yes.
In terms of your behavior, your thinking. Let this mind be in you which was in Christ Jesus.
I love that analogy.
You are continuously changed. That's why you move from glory to glory.
That's true, because if you were, say, a go-go dancer,
yes,
and you're convicted in your heart, and you accept Christ as Savior in a crusade one night. Would you like to see me? That person is a hard-working go-go dancer. Day one after your conversion is still a go-go dancer with a Christian heart.
Yeah,
and there's a process that you're gonna change, even your wardrobe, your language, your job. There's a whole process that you go through. Noel, instead
I'm just thinking that men become dancers too, remember? And go dance with the dancers down. Yes. They become dancers. No, to their brain and their eyes.
It came with everything.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're so right, and many times people say God will meet you at the point of your need.
And He moves you forward based on your heart. Which is important in
you have to participate in the movement forward and desire it and do your thing and go sell those clothes and get some new set of garments and change your language and the places you hang out and maybe the friends that you keep, some of them if you're not converting them too.
But listen to this.
So you can,
it is the same thing with JPS because they engage the people, but the people had a desire to change.
Yes, and she spoke about it.
Yeah, that some people, like she spoke about older people for years, and the pride that they experience in terms of legal pain,
cause a problem. Pick up the phone and say, "What happened to my service?"
Yeah,
because you actually have service. One of the best explanations I've heard of how man lost his entitlement to be in the spiritual realm.
Yes.
And what renewed access means. I got it in my training on the weekend gone. Pastor Alfred giving us sort of like an explanation of it, which I really love. He said, when God created Adam had full access. God was walking with him in the cool of the day in the garden, and you were having
tete-a-tete.
Absolutely.
Art converse.
He had full access to the benefits of whatever was in heaven. I'm sure, it was all his. And then you lost your access.
Yes.
You're in disgrace. Now you're locked out there, naked and flashing swords, barring you from going in.
You can't go in. The angels standing up.
The angels who fell, Lucifer and his crew, are like those people who say, I can get you in, cross the border. Give you a backdoor access.
Which is really
what the dark
side is like. Give you a back, but you really don't get back to where you were originally.
No, you're now in the realm, but you have to be hiding in the shadows.
Yeah.
You can't be walking down Main Street in the light of day because you have your passport.
No, you have none.
You have to be shifting in the shadows, making all kinds of covenants and deals that are painful and expensive.
Which is what
Just
is
so
about.
You can draw
kill, steal, and destroy, deceit.
Yes. I mean, when he said it, it's like light shone in my brain. I could see it. It is the story of the illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
And it's the same idea. You don't have legal access. You can't step up to the counter and ask for anything. Nobody knows you. Your name not on any list. You're not in the book.
Constant hiding. In the US it says ICE coming in.
Yes.
When ICE coming in place, they go to factories, you see, it's clear.
It's you.
Yeah.
You who don't say, let me take the way that is ordained for me to regain my access. Let me go and apply for my visa.
And it is free. Can you imagine that?
Lord and Savior who says, I am the door, I am the light, I am the way. Just walk through me and it's free.
It's free. That's the great thing about grace. It is free.
It is free, but it does require you to maintain a standard. So, for example, if the state have a regime for taxation, you gotta pay your tax.
Yes.
The man who lets you in through the back door, he might been taxed too.
Yes.
And it may look like you only have to pay him once, but all the people I hear of who you read about them, how much it costs them.
After them never do the right thing.
A visa, just even use it in, think about Jamaica and the US. A visa application is what?
I think it's
I don't know.
about 200 US now. It's
All
about
the people you hear who talk about crossing the border, it's thousands of dollars
US dollar them pay.
for
Yeah.
somebody to transport them.
And they might lose their life in it.
And you might lose your life, and certainly
because just yesterday it was says that a young Jamaican, an unidentified body was found in Mexico City, and the person had gone to Mexico, died, and they just identified as the person's body. The minister, Kamina, was speaking about it, and they're making arrangement to bring his body back home.
And there's the possibility that it's somebody who was trying to cross the border.
Yeah, because it was with a group of persons, and then they lost contact. Yeah,
yes.
It is unfortunate.
So it is the same, they say, as it is in the natural, so in the spiritual, or vice versa, whichever way you want to.
It's in the spiritual verses.
So it is in the natural.
Yeah.
So there it is now. The devil, having been tossed out of heaven, say, I can get you back in. Yeah, man.
It's not a joke,
Sacrifice your daughter.
Yeah.
Do these things. And it's all because you don't want to take what is really the easier way. Free access. We're seeing it played out, even in basic things like how we approach services. People want to jump the line. But jump the line, if you just wait, eventually your
turn will come.
Yeah.
You come up on a major issue, which is what it is about in terms of the bamboo, and back to the man and you pay it and then you find out. But they get you. They don't know. And you ever heard the story about the man who jumped the fence? And it's for the free concern. And discovered after and jumped the fence. The man said, he jumped the fence. It was free. You never have to pay to come in, and it is now 9:30 as we are here.
That's going to be our wrap-up point, because if we're truly going to transform lives and hearts, we have to shift that place in the mind. As Pastor Nelson said yesterday, we have to quell that rebellious, what was it again? The rebellious spirit, but it was rebellious on something else. I remember it when we get back. Please stay with us.
Let the sun help you. Get healthy, my friends. Stay balanced. Tune into this station, Bess FM 100, every Saturday morning, 8 o'clock to 9, for this wonderful program, Your Health Today, with me, Dr. Clarion Palmer. Yes, get healthy, get healthy, get healthy. Stay balanced. Bess FM 100, Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, with me, Dr. P. Get healthy.
Half a tree. 100, 200. Ready, mama. Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
discussions on health and education, inspiring interviews, surprise giveaways, your favorite songs. Tune in to Bess 100 FM this and every Sunday at 11:30 to 12 noon. It's Distinction 411, your weekly college magazine program hosted by James and the Distinction family. Catch you on Sunday.
Bess 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
Hey everybody, Apostle, Prophetess, Dr. Juliet Fagan here. I've got some good news for you. Many of you have asked and God has delivered. Guess what? Join me this and every Sunday. That's right, this and every Sunday evening, 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. Catch me right here on Bess 100 FM. That's right, on Friend of a Wounded Heart, an extension of Vision Miracle Church of God. And so on behalf of Bishop Leroy, myself, and all the brethren of Vision Miracle Church of God, I'm looking forward to having you Sundays, 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. right here on Bess FM 100.
Wagwan.
Guten Tag.
Buongiorno. We are
the Kingstones.
I think I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them. It's so amazing how I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them.
Welcome. Echoes. Welcome back. So, what were we talking about first before we went off?
The community and the impact of the community and how the engagement, what it does for people in terms of just commending JPS for what they have done. And I was like, until you walk in terms of the continuum of becoming a Christian and all of what happens and how
it was important for her to get back, for us to get back to it, because when you change the thinking that way, it's not confined to your JPS relationship. It affects
everything.
Family relationships, community relations in the wider space, how you treat with water commission,
how you treat it, because she was saying when they say, why not bring other people that come to?
Now that we're up to it.
Yeah, well, why don't you just bring it and just what it means to, as you said, to move from the darkness into the light. Oh, hallelujah. When you move from darkness into light, it's such a powerful thing. There's freedom. That is why Paul says to them, why are you going back to where you're coming from? Don't you know? He whom the Son has set free, he is free indeed. And do not be entangled again with these yokes of bondage. So that is the thing that is, yes, the yokes of bondage that are out there. Yes, so, we go back to where we started this morning when we think about how God has ordained and God is bringing forth something new in our nation. And we see it's happening in our children. Can you remember the stark contrast that we saw? Here is it that the 7-year-old that has been savage, but here is it this young man who is so broken because he was not able to have given his teacher something on Teacher's Day. And yesterday we spent a lot of time highlighting our teachers and the work that they have done and how important it is for us to honor them in a way that is not only lip service, but it's not only lip service, but in terms of what we actually do. Yesterday I was in a certain context and somebody was complaining, say some MP sent a gift basket for Teachers' Day to honor the teachers. One gift basket for 40 people. So them say, what? The person said, really? One gift basket.
Oh, it's symbolic, says Noel.
One gift basket.
It had peanuts in it? You should get a peanut.
But I don't even know. But I'm saying, come on. And I heard it. I'm saying, really? What is that? It's better if we just... it's better.
I'm thinking about it and I'm...
It's better I never did it. I sent cards and said, but I never did that. I said, now how does the principal decide? We keep it for the principal, it's set for all of the teachers. It's like that $200 million. It's like that $200 million that was put into the budget for the PPV person.
Yeah, that one is hard to countenance because you're trying to do something.
And if you're good, you're good, it's spoken evil of.
And then, yes.
You're good, it's spoken evil of. It's better it said, I wish you and send greetings.
Send that statement.
Yes, better than that. Because now, you're causing strife. So when the basket comes, and everybody know that the basket comes, that MP send the basket. What is the principal supposed to do with that? Because if she
and rush it.
I know.
Make them run and get a piece. Whoever grabs something gets up in here, share survival.
Yes, I want to appreciate in 40 pieces. Somebody was saying that's what they should do.
That's a mother's job. And my mother crack an ice in it. All of us looking up at her like chicks.
Serious?
She crack an ice in it.
My mother did that too, everybody get a piece. Everybody get a piece of the ice in me.
I don't know where mothers come from. Mother's Day is coming up.
Yes, Mother's Day is on Sunday. Mother's Day.
This Sunday or next Sunday?
This Sunday. I know it's this Sunday because as you jokingly said already, Mother's Day is for the children, not for the husbands. Yesterday, you understand? So even as I have a mom too, so even I'm saying, okay, I said, they have planned, and they pull me into the plan.
You just have to make sure that they plan.
They plan, but no, at the end I have to say, all right, so you guys do that, I'll do that for Mother's Day. So we sort out. Another special friend of ours is like my children's second mother. It's her birthday on Mother's Day too. So we are planning to see how we do that. But it's a good way to close. Let us understand our mothers. A mother. Ooh.
I remember, there's some things I remember of that are exemplary of motherhood to me. That one of them, I said it to somebody one time and they questioned me so closely that it ashamed to say it again. But let me tell you, my mother cracked guinea seed so we wouldn't swallow it and be hurt. When she came in, all of her children rushing to say, she's here. She has to find something. I think she goes through her day squirreling away things in her handbag for the children. As a consequence, I don't go home without something for Daniel, even though I need to eat thank you, mommy. And he appreciates it, but it's not the same, you know, the way we gathered at her feet when she came in, swarm her, and she bring home a bulla cake.
And she break.
I honestly think some of the times when she fails is when she cuts it.
I remember. But you know, when they talk about sacrifice for mother, I remember this so very strong. My mom was a civil servant for all the life that I knew her. And I remember this morning because all of us went to school in Kingston. I went to school in Kingston. And she worked closer to home, so if she wanted, she could walk to work. Yeah. And she got up the morning. We needed to go to school, and I remember she had this amount of money, and she said, "Okay, you guys going to school because that's one thing that she instilled in all of us. You guys got to get an education because that is
school is important. Nobody stays home from school because we don't have the money."
And she gave her last when we went off to school, and she told us the story after the story. And she said, all right, I walk to work. Now, at that point in time, she was a senior civil servant. She was responsible for one of the offices in the
walking to work is like she fall off.
Yes. So one of the taxi men pulls up and says, Mrs. Palmer, what's happening? You're not going? She said, yeah, man, I'm going to work, but I feel like walking this morning. That she couldn't say to me, nobody. Taxi. And he went off, to do it. So on this Mother's Day, Mom, all of us salute you. So Michael, Cheryl's overseas, myself, Colette, Colleen, Karen, and then the other children outside, like my outside meaning children that she took in.
No, what you mean by
no, man, nobody. We had Richard and Jackie.
Yeah.
We salute you. You have been a great mom. And one of the things, even in terms of the mother she was, so she goes to look for my sister with an outside child, with my father and the hospital, and her mom was there. And then she goes and she gives out and says, Mom, you come again. So nurse, how much mother you have? She said, you know about that. And so that is, so yes.
Right,
so Hazel.
I can give love to my mom.
We salute you, Hazel.
Hazel Senior. How old is your mom now?
87. She's 87.
Senior to my mom.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that she gets some more airtime.
Yeah, but we salute our mothers on this Mother's Day.
Can I please salute my mother?
Yes, please go ahead.
No, I don't know what to say, but my mother knows that my heart is always in that place of wanting to please her, to see her well, to see her experiencing joy of her children having survived and basically, holding their own in the world. And I thank her. I thank her that she never gave up on a single one of us. I thank her that she made everything that she had available to give us. In my house, the children came first. The children were fed first. The needs of the children were looked after first. My father was of a more traditional bent. My mother was the kind of person that if 2 pairs of shoes need to be purchased and one is for the child,
the child gets it.
Or 2 are for the children, because she had 7 of us.
Yeah.
The children went first.
Yes.
She always put the needs of her children first, and she was never afraid to give us the benefit of her experience.
Mm-hmm.
So she would say, make sure you can do this, you can do that. You girls are here, now you children see. And she was always giving us that room to honor our father, no matter what the provocation might have been. She was always one to say, he is your father, honor, respect are due. You didn't get
that too? You didn't get that too?
My mother never let us get up in our
about it. No, my mom said that all the time, even though after years they were parted. Yeah, she said that.
As your father,
respect,
honor and respect are his due, you give it. And so I celebrate her. And I've learned now too that her needs are so simple and she's so straightforward. You don't have to show her with, we're past that point. All that could be given has been given. She knows what it is to travel, to live high, to live well. No, it's just about love, honor, respect. And showing her that her effort was not in vain. I pray that every child across this nation has an opportunity to show their mother, their fathers too, that your effort was not in vain. I am worth something. I am pushing to get to somewhere positive. When you do that, the whole nation moves forward.
We move forward, so we are speaking to a culture of honor.
Absolutely.
And that is the only commandment that comes with a promise, Let me remind people today.
Honor your mother.
Father, this is the only commandment that comes with a promise. And that belong. And as that is being rebirthed in our nation, I think that is what that was about. It was
honor will sustain us when love, when covenant is weak.
Yeah.
Honor will sustain us. And we need a lot of it these days. I want to say one thing before we go, because I saw that judges have received a pay hike. And it's not altogether lacking in respect.
Yes.
I mean, it's a decent pay hike. Anybody who can earn
50%,
$26 million or whatever on a government job, that's not bad. And it comes with all kinds of other things too. You have your car and I don't know if Mr. Clark cut out the allowance and
that's true.
money, because that has been the strategy.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
what is totally unacceptable is for the Minister of Justice, Delroy Chuck, who lawyer and man of great seniority himself, to on the day after you bump the pay,
dishonor,
to talk about after big pay hike, judges need to expedite judgment. If you say that, you must be implicit in that statement, be saying that judges were lagging in their work and there's a word for it, it's not malingering. There's a word for when.
There was that Jamaica understand that better. There was Lele.
You must be saying that they were those slow.
Yes, and Lele with the work.
To be challenging the integrity of the people by saying you were not producing well because you were not being paid well. And now that I'm giving you more money, you better pay up. What kind of crassness is that?
This is political expedience.
You cannot
let's call it for what it is.
Like that.
It's dishonoring. It's dishonor.
Oh, that is, yes.
It's dishonor.
It is, Let me tell you, one of the things that, the experts say, when I did some kind of human resource work, they say that pay is low down on the list of what makes a person stay in a job.
You know that?
It surprised me.
Why it surprised you?
No.
Maslow hierarchy of needs?
No, because before you acquired, were you born thinking that pay is unimportant? When you stepped out in the work world, you say, how much are you going to pay me?
Yeah, but
it's important.
But after time,
you will not take a job if the pay is too low.
Yeah, but after time,
But once you've been in the position, it is not the money that keeps you performing.
Motivation and other things come into being. Yeah.
Absolutely. But when you're starting out, pay is very important.
Yeah.
There are people who would rather stay home than take certain
Which is what is happening with a lot of people. But
that is happening. But once you're in the job, so these judges, some of whom are of great seniority, they don't know nothing else. They start law, work in government, became judges. They're not in the job because of the money. And many a time they say, just pay me better so I can be more comfortable. I'm not leaving. Just make me more comfortable. Let me live with dignity. So for a senior minister of government to say, now that I am paying you more, beg you please, be more timely in the performance of your duties. You really are suggesting that they were wasting time as a ploy to get better pay. It would be a matter of integrity.
But of course, you could have said the same thing to remember you have a judgment, you not see it. Remember that one that you have not seen, you've been asking for it.
You should leave it to the citizens. And not even citizens are doing that. I think it is a very coarse comment, unworthy of a member.
You put it in the same category as Warmington?
Yes, it is up there with Think and Laws.
Oh, jeez.
Think and Laws is a new one.
No, but no.
Really? Same as Think and Laws?
Well.
Whatever it is. It's Minister of Chuck. Guard your tongue, please. Unworthy statement. We're going to leave on a hang. To the mothers in our nation, we love you, we bless you.
We celebrate you.
That most of the teachers are also mothers.
And they are mothers to our children when they are worthy
of praise and honor. Right now, we are not giving it to you in dollars, but your children and some of you in your lifetime will reap. The prophet has opened up a season of reward.
Come in.
Yes, Hebrews 11:6. Let's close on that note. Hebrews 11:6 says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. Those who come to God must know that He is, and that He is the rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. And as a matter of, there's been a prophetic pronouncement that God has opened up the reward season. So all of you who are faithful and have been pushing and pushing and pushing, your time for receiving your reward is now. So just position yourself. To do that, you just have to keep pushing, keep believing, keep being faithful. The season is on. I'm excited by it. I'm excited too by the prophecy from your brother-in-law.
And you never even know what is going on in your life. That is a prophetic for you.
Very encouraged by it. Thank you, Mr. Producer. I see that you are ready to sign up. Lloyd, back at the studio, thank you so much for keeping us on point, and to the listeners and the watchers online. JPS, thank you. Ligani Club, JD's Urban Pub. Please, JD's Urban Pub is doing something very special for Mother's Day. Check it out. I can't give you the menu now, but suffice it to say, if you made them your choice for celebrating your mother will be very pleased.
Very, very pleased. I lick it my lips.
Yeah, if you were a mother, you'd want to be here.
Well, the father will do it. I don't take it up. All right. Blessings.
Everyone.
Smile a while, youth. You have your own style, youth. Every time, youth. Watch again. We don't give trouble, we give thanks. Turn up the music, how we no response.